on the show. And there were two really pretty women actresses. When we were getting out of the car, I just never forget my dad goes, "Bye, Dan, bye, sis." You know, because we were pretty girls there. Get it? It was funny. Come in. Come in. How you doing? We all just told a secret about ourselves. That's amazing. So you actually got away with killing that guy. So if you ladies have any secrets you want to tell, we all just went through and, yeah. All right. Have a seat. Don't trust myself.
Is it right?
You're making him nervous.
I only got 3 jokes and I talk constantly.
You are.
Thank you for bringing me back in. Hi, ladies. Did I just have a stroke or did the lights go off? Oh, good. Yeah. We'll just wait maybe a few more minutes till
Computer's about to
other
explode.
people.
Do you know how many you're
Let me
expecting?
see. So we have
Yeah,
1,
let's-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're still missing a.
Trying to eyeball who's in
No, there's
class.
Cody, Meredith, Sammy.
Yeah, Meredith.
I saw Cody pull in, so he's still.
There's still a couple.
Yeah, still a bit. That, and I don't know who all is in script writing that should be here. So this is close to
So
everybody
you'll be
from
right there.
Come back.
TV studio. Okay. Yeah.
I'm so glad everybody's here. And then do we stay here for the community thing is here?
Yeah, we'll stay here.
We'll see who from the community comes. It's fine. This is actually good. Are any of you guys want to be actors too? Nobody? So this is kind of what they do when you're auditioning. You've prepared for three days and you go into a room and you hear this. And they're like, we just have to eat. Don't worry about it. Just go. And like, oh yeah, this is the perfect situation for getting a job. You think this will hold our fat ass? Okay, good. Why don't we go through so I can learn your names to the best of my ability? What's your name?
Kaylee.
Kaylee? Kayleen. I'm Danny.
I'm William.
William, Kayleen, William. Shirley. William and Kayleen. And then William and Shirley. Trinity. I should have had you third. Trinity. Three. Trinity.
Spelled with the D.
Trinity.
D-E-Y.
Yeah, that's cool. Was that mom was pretty cool. You never asked her? Did you never go, are you illiterate? You don't know how to spell Trinity? Trinity, Shirley, William, Kayleen, and Calvin. Calvin volunteered.
They should have soda came.
So Kayleen, you were there too? Oh yeah, you were there too. Yeah, I didn't notice you without the blue shirt. Did they let you take those shirts home, I hope?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Okay.
Can you imagine we just have to be like, okay, guys, see you back.
What kind of people would you be? And your name, sir?
Antonio.
Antonio.
Jerry.
Antonio and Jerry, and William and Kelvin, and Kayleen and Shirley and Trinity D. Antonio,
Jerry.
Jerry.
Aaron?
Aaron and Jerry and Antonio.
With 2 A's.
2 A's. No, E's are girls.
Yeah.
And your name, please.
Haley.
Haley. Okay. I'm just, it's interesting as I get older, I could have done this whole room, but as I get older now I realize I'm Aaron, Jerry, Antonio, Haley, Meredith.
So what?
And Haley.
Move up.
Is this
now
a
it's you.
4-year school?
Huh?
Is this a 4-year?
2 years.
2-year school?
And we're waiting for Cody.
Was that
Yeah,
right?
we were here.
Where were we?
Yeah, you were in the meeting.
Where were we?
No, you weren't there. Could have been my other wife.
I was gonna say, oh, you're confusing.
When you were showing Getting Grace?
Maybe they got like lost or something.
I know when you were.
I've been married 42 years, if you add all three of them up.
Oh, God. You got great dad jokes.
I said, well, you know, that's interesting you say that, Kelvin. They would be dad jokes if I wasn't a professional entertainer. So as a professional entertainer, you're getting the goddamn cream of the crop. So this is no longer a dad, although I am a dad, these jokes are really, these are professional jokes.
Showman jokes.
Yeah. My ex-wife, this may surprise you why she's my ex-wife, but she used to say, you know, you're not funny. And I'd say, you know, I have incontrovertible proof I'm funny. You're living in it. You're driving in it. You send our children to school with it. That's how I'm funny, Meredith. May not seem funny on a Wednesday morning in a cold gray El Tracy classroom, but God damn it, I'm funny. Do we have, is Wendy with us?
She's watching the stream.
Oh,
so,
boy.
Yeah.
Hi, Wendy. Hopefully, I haven't offended you yet. Wendy is such a godsend to us, one of our producer team. She's a great teacher, right? Yeah, you guys are learning a lot. All right, it's 11:15. We're missing just a few more.
They might have accidentally went to the other class. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
I can do that.
If any of you, why don't you invite them, if any of you have the people missing on your cell phone, ask them to join us here. Meredith, I hope you're moving up.
I just want to move a little closer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, move up, move up.
there's someone. Hello.
Hey.
And
Sit up here, sit up here.
she likes to plan things out. I like to
I
tell
like to
people.
make sure everyone's involved.
I do.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
What's
Most
your,
of them, yeah, most of them are film club.
what's your name?
Destiny.
Destiny.
Yes.
I'm Danny.
Hi.
Destiny, Trinity, Destiny,
Two destiny.
April, Aaron, Meredith, Haley, Antonio, Kayleen, Calvin, William. Don't think that because you moved, but your name didn't change when you moved.
No,
Are you sure? Eddie? Edie?
No, isn't it in the Antonio?
No, that's not.
Oh, that's it,
Jerry.
okay.
There you go.
I knew you did. Thank you. All right, so, and here's another person coming. Hello. How are you? Come on, you can come closer and say. What's your name? Darren or just Darren? Darren. Am I hearing it?
Derek or Darren?
Derek or Darren?
Darian.
Darian, neither. So we're both.
Or Coda.
It's so shitty that you get older and your body just starts failing. It just stops. It's horseshit, but it just stops. All right, we're good.
I think this is everybody, maybe except for one or two who are gonna
think,
trickle in, but this is basically
We're
everyone.
missing like two people from the class, but they either might not be here or went to the wrong.
Well, this is what I'm saying. If you have them both in your text,
I texted both of them right
thank you.
now.
All right.
We'll see if he answers or actually right, but.
Okay. Well, we'll begin. I'm Danny Roebuck, Tammy Roebuck. We're so pleased and blessed and honored to be here. We're filmmakers by trade. But we weren't always. I started out as an actor, and Tammy started out doing a million things.
Live TV.
Live TV. And you guys are here generally, is this a TV class, a film class? We can
It's
just have.
like, well, a studio TV, studio production class, but like.
Most of us here are film majors, yeah.
Oh, and filmmakers, right. I know you're right, Haley, yes.
I'm a visual media major.
A
Visual media.
I know, so that's theater, everything?
It's more like communications based, so like a lot of like social media, just like
Oh,
social media.
Photography.
do you know, it's so funny, it's interesting how, I think you're very smart to like get a foundational understanding of that. We have aged out of understanding the social media 1,000%. And my children, when I said, should I get on TikTok? My children were vehemently opposed to it.
No.
Yeah, they're like, don't humiliate
You
yourself.
could do it, but you gotta have someone running it.
Yeah, but that,
Yeah, I don't
then
want.
I hire Haley, you know.
Hire Haley to run your TikTok.
I had somebody doing that for me for a while, and that all of a sudden, they were expressing opinions on political issues. This is 10 years ago, of which I could say that, I mentor a lot of young people, and I know that, you know, somehow you're being told to be turned into warriors of a certain ideology. What I can tell you is, staying in the middle is really the best place. It's really the best place, not only, because it's easy to go to one side, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna tell you guys truths. And it's truth as I understand it and see it. But I see an actor, like, there's a guy named Pedro Pascal, who's a guy that I see at auditions. And then one day he starts tweeting stuff politically. And then I see him, now he's no longer at auditions, now he's just starring and stuff. And the more he tweets, the higher, and I think, do they take you into a room and do they say, if you say this stuff, we'll give you everything? With these Epstein files coming out, we see there is a large level of corruption and
Yeah.
corruptible choices people are making that are weirdly immoral, and yet they, you know, they speak. Come on in. So glad you're in. What's your name?
Sammy.
Sammy? Come on in, let me see. You're not in trouble.
You're good, Sam.
Sit closer.
Yeah.
There's a seat.
Sorry.
You're good, we just started.
There's no, we're all here, we're all happy to be here. So we're just talking about stuff. Anyway, what I'm saying is, like as an actor, I think, how can somebody, there's that, you need that disconnect from you so people see you in the character. If you are so vocal as a human, then it's hard to disappear into a character. That certainly is true lately of Robert De Niro, who's become so vocal, whether you agree with him or not, it's hard to see him as a character because he's put himself in the middle of these issues that are not really where actors belong or filmmakers. And then what I say is, you want to tell stories and have an opinion, hide them in your movies like everybody else. You know, that's what I do.
Put it in your message and.
Yeah, and I don't, you know, I'm not, if say, you know, the Hail Mary, the one we're gonna talk about today, it's a faith-based movie, but the last thing, someone asked me once in an interview, when you hire your crew and your actors, do they all have to be, you know, believers, Christians? I'm like, I don't even understand the question. Like, I don't, no, I hire the best people. I don't care what they believe in. I care that they're competent at their job. I don't care how they believe. It's the last thing. And it should be the last thing anybody cares about. So we thought that we would start. It's a little overlong, but you'll see maybe people you recognize in it. We thought, because you guys are film majors, we tried this fun thing. This is a piece that they did on the news. We'll watch that when it's over. The scene that we're actually filming, and I invite you, while you're not only listening to what they're saying in the news and seeing how we do it, beyond that, this is you can see a scene that we shot that I actually cut out of the movie, and it was a heartbreaker to cut it out of the movie. But you stay on story. It's so important to stay on story. So I cut this out because it wasn't directly on story. And then when we reviewed this yesterday, the first thing I said is, God, I hate that I cut that out of the movie. So you're going to see it without the context of the story that comes before. But there's what's called a novitiate, a novice nun. So she just come into the order of sisters. And that's very rare. I support the sisters who I base this on monthly with donations, and I know because I support them that they get one novice every few years, even now. So watch this. It's about how we make movies, how we involve our interns into the movies, and then I'm going to show you the scene, and I thought we'd have fun kind of deconstructing the scene. All right, so first thing is you can watch us filming the scene, and then I don't know if, may I turn down the lights?
Yeah.
Is it here? That's great, don't touch that. That's good, thank you.
Go, have fun, quiet, please. And action. We're shooting the Hail Mary in the Lehigh Valley primarily because this is where I'm born and raised. Woody Allen has Manhattan, you know, and John Ford has Monument Valley. And I have the Lehigh Valley. It's mine, and I claim it.
Roll cameras.
My main partners are my wife, my daughter, dear friends. So Marcia here and I have known each other for almost...
I was 19 years old when I met Dan, so we've been friends, I'm not going to say how many years, but we've been friends for a long time.
We've been together 8 years, married over 5, and as soon as we got together, he said, I want to make a movie, and I said, let's do it.
Hopefully I'll get cast.
Dan's an actor, a really good actor.
You drink a lot. Let me ask you. I went to Hollywood at 20 and then I just have really never stopped working. Nitroglycerin. Shows like Glee and Lost is the most dangerous. At 6 years old I started saying, well, I'm on TV. What am I on TV?
Louis freaking face.
And I mean, imagine how annoying that is for, you know, 2 working class people, you know. Okay, come on, clean your room. Well, hold on. I'm on TV. Do you have an acting degree? Did I think I would have someone clean my room? Because I am on TV and I have to do it. I mean, it's been an interesting path. I was a ventriloquist, I was an impressionist, then I was a clown in a circus. I was 12 years old and I traveled with the Lions All-Star Circus. And then I found the theater, and once I found the theater, then I knew I would be on TV as an actor more than anything. So I was here, I did a lot of plays, I don't know, 30, 40 plays from the time I found the theater at 13. And then I went to Hollywood at 20, and God is good, I started my first movie at 20. It's a great story. And then I just have really never stopped working.
It's very important to me, as a guy who grew up here in the Lehigh Valley, you know, I had to go to Hollywood. So now I think, I'm going to bring Hollywood to them.
The Lehigh Valley is absolutely a character in the movies we play, and not by accident.
It's a postcard commercial for Northeast Pennsylvania.
And I love giving local people an opportunity.
Yeah, we're going to do a quick pickup.
I came to meet with Danny because he knew my husband growing up in Bethlehem. He loves teaching people about film, bringing it to the Lehigh Valley.
It's just a stunning view of all of the property and the valley from up here. So he's done a really good job in shooting all of this, showing the beauty of the property and the beauty of the Lehigh Valley.
And a big wink, and then back, and then turn. You know what I mean? We hire many local actors. In fact, almost all of our nuns and all of our boys are from the Lehigh Valley or the surrounding, like one or two of the kids are from Philly. And now you're acting.
His ability to see, you know, potential in us and give us speaking roles is great. Like on set, they'll be like, you guys having fun? They'll keep asking us. I don't even know what to say. It's like, you know, it's like overwhelming.
This is your first feature film, right?
First feature, yeah.
How's the director?
Really, really good.
Wait, that's all you got? Wait, really, really good, not extra parts, lead roles to local talent, proving what I've always maintained.
So what are you talking about?
Only an idiot or a snob that thinks the best actors are in Los Angeles or New York. There's great actors everywhere. My talent is fun.
I think because Dan's an actor as well as a director, he is able to pluck these kids with no experience and get completely realistic performances out of them. And that's really fun to do.
Movie looks, go ahead. He's the greatest director I've ever worked with. He's a genius. He's like Lord Squirrel of the Lehigh Valley.
You're welcome.
I'm so flattered. Now, look, it is hurting cat. I took 25 boys and 12 nuns to play park. Come here, where are you? Come here.
It's a busy set because he is being the actor, director, producer.
Mark, you go to this side.
It's cool to be able to hang out and see Dan, you know, doing his multitasking, you know, putting on his director hat, putting on his actor hat, seeing him switch and how he, you know, relates with everybody.
He's like running a teaching thing here too, with all these amazing kids who are interning with us.
If you look around, you'll see everywhere you look, I have a professional person teaching intern how to do a job. You don't get it in the promise.
I've been hopping around from art department to G&E to then whoever needs me. Sometimes the producer might call me down. I realized how much work actually goes into pre-production alone.
Being able to be in terms of social media, I kind of weasel my way into different situations so I can really be immersed into a scene and like kind of get a feel for what everyone else is doing.
How much work is definitely needed, especially between each particular shot. If you need to get another shot, this needs to be set, hands in, fly in, get everything ready, fly out, boom.
I've always been a huge advocate of bringing on interns. It's really what fuels me. I started out as an intern. Through my internship, I ended up behind the camera and fell in love with it. That's launched my career.
Dan's so great because he knows that we're here to learn, so he makes special effort to be like, okay, this is a good time for you guys to look at the monitor or see how we do this.
And he'll come up to me and let me try to find something like, is there a department around that you can help out with? Because he wants you to get involved, you know, like I said, he wants you to get the experience that you're here to get.
Every kid who's on our crew who has been a film student has said to us, I'm going down to a man or a woman, I learned more in your movies than I did in college. And we want to make the most of this situation and giving opportunities to local people to learn the real art of filmmaking. There's a lot of people who do it theoretically, but they don't know there's rules where you put the camera, there's rules how you light, there's rules how you treat actors, so we teach them all.
Writing, directing, and starring in his own film, like, you don't have to wait for those opportunities to come. It's about seizing the day. So it was something really inspiring. Like, while he has done us a great favor, I think he's also inspired us to kind of, you know, do our own thing, be creative. We can make a movie that tells our story.
This is my third film with Dan.
My first production with them was Lucky Louie this past fall, but that was also my first film.
I would say the makeup of the crew is probably about a little over 2/3 local.
Fade In, Fade Out is a film consortium, and we really have found a good bulk of our crew, our gaffers, cinematographers, our first assistant camera people. All of them have come from our connections through FIFO. We call it our film family, this quality crew that continues to keep coming back and working for us. And for me, I feel like the fact that, you know, they keep coming back every time and they're like, when's the next movie? It's, you know, it makes me happy because that means, okay, we're doing something right.
It was such a great experience, I had to come back again.
This is our third movie, and to be able to branch out into feature films, I was all for that because for me, just having the experience to keep learning in my business was exciting. And to do it with my husband even better. Danny and I, we always say, what's our next adventure? We just call everything an adventure in our life. So for this was just a huge adventure for us.
I worked with every strata, from like the biggest blockbuster movies.
Oh, wow, gee whiz, look here. The Fugitive, and then independent movies like River's Edge and Dude.
And the one thing that I took from all of them was, it's so much easier to get stuff done if you're having fun. Cut it. I'm gonna go to work, I'll be back.
Let's make a movie. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. All right, so any questions about that at all? No, kind of self-explanatory.
No, I just, I like how you make movies here in Lehigh Valley and like, you know, you have the support of the people here and you're providing jobs and stuff for people here, that's awesome.
Thank you. We're, believe me, lucky and honored to do it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, so we've actually now done 5 movies.
We've been married 10 years now, that's how that package is. But we got, our company, Magic Bean Entertainment, got hired to produce, and Danny directed a movie in Connecticut, and we brought our entire Pennsylvania-based crew to Connecticut, you know, paid job, to work there. So, you know, we really have built a good core of people, and we let people move up, you know. Some start as interns, now they're, you know, their first assistant director or second assistant, you know, so they're all moving up and have an opportunity to go into different departments. And it is interesting how some, you know, you start seeing by the end of a 25 or 26 day shoot, they start gravitating toward a specific department where they didn't think they'd like production design or art department, and then that's what they're doing now. So giving them the opportunity to work in different departments really lets them figure out kind of what they really want to focus on, and it's been neat watching that.
And when we bring the interns in, and what's funny is we'll assign them, or they'll say, you know, we always say, what's your preference? But if someone's really good on the camera, like cameras, like, no, we're not.
Yeah, they won't give us back. Yeah, that's like Caitlin.
Well, Caitlin from Kutztown came in a camera, and now she's pulling focus on, you know, all of our movies and other movies people make. So you could see them doing this scene. So I wanted to, Tam, play the scene.
Yep.
So let's play the scene. Pause 1 second. You know, as filmmakers, you got to take the scene and you've got to figure out the first thing that I know when I'm in trouble on a movie that I go in as an actor. I come to the set and the DP says, okay, you're going to start here, and then you're going to cross there, and then you're going to cross here. And, you know, I've been doing this long enough that I now can say, let's stop exactly, everybody stop what they're doing. I'm telling you right now, I'll do this one scene, but we're never doing this again. You don't, the DP doesn't decide how to shoot the scene. As a director, I bring the actors in, and we go over the scene. We read it, because everyone's done it separately. We read it together so they can see the other cues who's saying them. And then, you know, I'll start figuring the scene out from there. This one's kind of obvious because have you learned your 180 rule yet? Yes, I see Meredith saying yes, the 180 rule, where how you put the camera to make sure that people's eye lines match. There's a rule, and I chose this because this is easy, because there's 2 masters that both had to be shot. But they also have to be shot when you're looking at the room. You'll note they're shot from the same side, looking back and looking down. Because if we put the cameras on the opposite sides, then immediately everybody would be looking the wrong way and you would be destroying it. So this is just, I thought, a fun opportunity to watch a scene. Try to just watch it, really hear it, see it, enjoy it, and then we'll talk about it.
This isn't color time.
Hi there.
Good morning. Good morning. Take a seat. Good morning. All the way. I am Teacher Veronica. I will be your music teacher for the rest of this year. This is my first class. Yes?
Do you get students?
Stand up.
Just the house.
I said stand up. Now. Sign your name on the board. I said sign your name. Or have we failed at even that? Clearly, we have not successfully taught you manners. Have we also failed
at remedial penmanship? If you can do it, sign your name right there. Excuse me. That, Mr. Raphael, is your marker. Do you have any idea how many novices we get in this order? Anybody? One. If I'm lucky, one every 5 years. So, Mr. Raphael, if you or any of your classmates drive this young lady away from my order, I will simply expect you to replace her. Do you understand? I have your marker now, and you will deliver to me a nun. I don't care if it's your sister, your mother, or your grandmother. If Sister Veronica goes, one of them is Marion Jesus. Okay then.
Where were we?
Just pause it, don't go out, don't touch anything.
I'm not touching.
Don't touch anything. All right, so you're shooting that scene. We can turn the lights on if you think so. So you're shooting that scene. How many setups do you think are in that? Just take a guess. Come on in, come on in.
Oh, hey, Cody.
I'm sorry.
Cody, you've missed nothing important. Except the entire point of the thing. Come have a seat. Anybody, any guesses, filmmakers here?
Like different shots.
Yeah, so you gotta slice the scene up to shoot it correctly. How many camera setups do you think there were? Barry?
15.
15? How did you come across that number? Yeah, go. 3? Okay. Meredith is awfully close. I think it's 16. Was your eye seeing it, or she gave it away because you could see all the shots on the board before it go out of the thing.
Well, they're
Yeah, they're all.
not really setups. 15 setups.
It's 16 setups. So your master, pull the shot, pull it up, and we'll go one after the other. Just go to photos. Okay. It should open it up. All right, and then you'll be able to just use this. All right, so that's the master from the back. That's one shot. Just go here, right? Click right here. Just click here. So that's the master from the other side, right? So you have two masters. So again, why do you have a room? You have to pick a side. You can't move the camera to the opposite side or things. Now, I'm on so many sets, I'm telling you, of what I'm blessed I do work, again, you hear me say at every level. If I'm on a movie where people go, oh no, it's a great shot, and you go, you can't cut and won't edit together. And this is something that if you haven't definitely learned and gotten the 180 rule in your head, you've got to get someone in here to teach it to you. Because it's vitally important for your ability, even when you make films on your own, because it's the biggest screw up people make. Next, just go to the same place. So then we have Veronica's coverage wide, which we're going to move other people in and out of this frame, but we've moved the camera now into the center of the room. And because we chose one side to shoot from, we know where she's looking. If she's looking to her right, she's looking to the right side of the camera. When she looks to her left, she'll be seeing where Sister Kathleen enters. Next one. Then we need coverage right of the boy, great young actor we found here in the Lehigh Valley. cutting this because this was his scene. But, so now we're in the fourth setup, and I can use both those setups later, and move people in and out of them. But to tell my story, how do you tell the story? He's got to see her, and we've got to see him lasciviously looking at this lovely little nun, like it's so inappropriate. But it's human. Like, I want human stuff in my movies. I want, nuns art. She is a pretty girl. I've actually watched that girl grow up and wrote that part for her. So she's a lovely human being. So I needed him to see her. And we, as the audience, we needed to see him see her before he comes up with this, do you date students? Next shot, right? Okay, so we actually go back to the reverse master before we come to this close-up, because you want this exchange to go on excluding where she would be in the back of the room. You want to surprise your audience. So before we cut to this, we cut to the reverse master of her standing there and the boys all turning around when she slams the door. So then now your audience knows, uh-oh, she just heard him. And so now we're going to use this shot is her coverage, and she's going to walk into it. Next shot.
And that shot follows her. It pans to follow her.
To the boy.
Yeah.
So that shot follows her in, and then we went in for tighter coverage. So the other shot came in, we saw her stop, and then we cut in here, and the next shot is his reverse. So now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots in. And we're not even through the scene. Next shot. So then we watch her come into the shot that we established of Sister Veronica's coverage. Although we were a little wider, that's the same shot. And then we needed reactions of the boys. And the great thing about this is it's 3 shots, but what we probably did was on one of we shot with 2 cameras. So we were probably raking the camera across the boys. I like it when the actors don't know the camera's on them. It's very good to think about when you're working with extras. And these kids were extras, they were actors. But having the actors not know when the camera's on them is the perfect way to make sure they're always active. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It's a little dry this week. You're okay. And then next shot. So now, the geography of the actors dictates how you have to shoot. I am so sorry. Do you have a minute? They may have a minute.
Now, if I can just get this. Now watch out, because it might spill. So it's not just me, okay.
Were you trying to open?
Like a little case of mints.
I have nails.
Did you want to try to open the Zelda mints?
So this is,
He wants to get
his iced tea?
Yeah.
Oh, he went to get it?
No, he wants to.
Oh, okay. Does he have the keys?
Were you able to get up? Yeah, I don't know why it's so difficult to get
These next
open.
2 shots are a good example of the 180 rule.
My friend gave them to me.
Because you're gonna see that the camera is on this side, and when we flip to his coverage, we're still on this side of them. We're on the side close to the desk. And that's a great example of the 180 rule. You wouldn't put the camera over her right shoulder, you've got to keep it on over her left shoulder. And when we flip it, you'll see that's a good example. Sorry. Oh, yeah.
You're probably fine, but sometimes there's sticklers.
It's okay, you're gonna break your nails. No?
I'm afraid of it.
Can you like just like
I'm afraid of
So
it.
sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get you mints from a little.
No, this is good, this is good. I got a little calm now. When I act on stage, I always keep a little dry mouth gum in my mouth and up in my cheeks. And I've been doing that for years. Sorry about that. I don't know what that is. Maybe as you get older,
The air here is also like very weird, like every time I hear it.
it's so strange.
It's always just.
I cough like that too, like if I walk into a restaurant, we were at Yakko's, and they were certainly cutting onions right on the other side of the thing, and that made that happen. So I apologize.
Feel better?
Thank you. Tammy will come back with my tea and then we
That
can.
happens a lot during like different foods. Like if you chop up like jalapenos, it can make you cough.
Yeah, it's so weird. Onions always make me, I don't, raw onions, I can't eat them because just smelling them has that effect on me. Very strange. Here's Miss Tammy. Thanks.
Okay, you're doing great.
Thank you. So say that again? What did you-
No, I'm just saying he always uplifts everybody.
He's a good man, that's good. It's important, by the way, you want to be a director, you better be an uplifter.
You got it.
Because you've got to get 140 people, or if you have 140 people plus 250 extras, that's 490 people, 390 people. You've got to get to do exactly what you want at the exact same moment of time.
Excuse me, would you still like a mint?
I'll keep it handy.
He worked very hard to get
I
that.
finally got it open. It took me long enough. I don't know how. I finally got it open.
Thank you, it's all good. You guys rock. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
I was saying how this.
I'm
is
sorry,
next
I'll
to-
open it again. Hold on. I don't know why. This containers are the hardest thing to open.
You gotta take it all
I
up.
was
I'm
saying
gonna
how
zip
these
it.
next two should be
Maybe.
for money.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're trying to zip.
Maybe it's a full. I'm sorry, my interrupting.
Well, are you trying to get that over?
Yeah, nobody can get this open.
Does
except I-
does someone else want another mint?
Yes, I'm just trying to open it
I'll
up.
wait.
Just give this.
We'll do it later, we'll do it later.
This is, okay, let's bring it all back here.
Right.
Trinity, I'm sorry. Well, she'll wait for the minutes, so don't worry about the minute. All right, back to, because this is teaching important stuff. Tammy was just reminding you that this is proof of the 180 rule. So the geography of the scene switched now because the actor's movements sometimes often predicate moving the camera, right? So because she came to the front and now we're going to have an exchange that's where we're involving these two people, now we're here, and it's important that the camera's over his right shoulder, go to the next shot, and the camera's over her left shoulder. So he's looking right to left, and she's looking, go back one, huh, to that side. She's looking left to right. I'm right.
Yeah.
You know, I inverted it in my brain. So they're both looking to the correct side. If you would go back here one, if you would put his camera on her other shoulder, he'd be looking the wrong way.
Yeah, it would look weird.
It would be wrong. And then one more, we got another shot. So then we had to fall back, a whole nother setup back, because we needed the audience to know that Veronica was watching. She winks at Veronica, and then next shot, and we see Veronica's reaction. And again, it's the same thing. We fall back, and we stayed over the correct shoulder. Right? Okay. So I thought that was, and then I think there's one more shot of the sequence. No, oh no, then we're just
Then
back
we just
to
go back to her
her
ride.
coverage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the story of that. So that's kind of it's important, teaching wise, that you guys, thanks Dan, that you guys know that stuff. Over the course of my life, I've mentored many people, Tammy has too. Hundreds and hundreds of actors I mentor. I check in with them a year later, how's it going? It's kind of the same. Did you do any of the stuff we talked about? No. Okay. That's why it's the same. So we're on the phone this morning because the Hail Mary's coming out in theaters. And so we shot a movie because of COVID. We were going to make the Hail Mary, but instead we made another movie. Then we had to finish that movie. We shot the Hail Mary. Then we had to put the first movie we shot out. Then I got hired to direct another movie. And then we spent a year and a half on that. And then we ended up doing St. Nick of Bethlehem. And then we realized that if we got it out, the first year we'd be able to bring money in the first year, and then we can. So I made this movie 5 years ago, and then had 3 other movies between them, and now this one's finally coming out. But we spent a lot of time and energy and effort on this. We altered the storyline a little.
We saved enough to have a orchestra do the score, a portion of the
The
score.
score was really good. Like
Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed it. I was wondering if it was actually live or not.
Yeah, we half live. What you do, and by the way, also with any movie project, when you do the actual finishing of the movie, you got to make the movie. You got to cut it into reels. They're generally 20 minutes, but you try to cut the reel at a scene break, so that if you can have a blacker transition between reels. But the movie has so much information in it that the computer can't keep all of the information. So you cut into 20-minute reels, and you put your sound and your sound effects and your color timing and everything reel by reel. But what they do, your sound team starts at the front, and then they go to the back. They don't do it chronologically, because what do audiences remember? The beginning of the movie and the end of the movie. And it's the middle of the movie, and then you work this way. So you do the first reel, the last reel, the second reel, the second last reel, and you move to the center. And that's how you kind of make sure that the quality is high at the end. Have any of you ever been in a play or directed a play, been in a play? Yeah? Yeah. So what they do is you start rehearsing, and you're working on the first act. And then when that's blocked, you're working on the second act. And then people want to go back to the front. And then the third act, you get to like 3 days before you open, which is the worst case scenario, because that means the end of your play is your least prepared part of the play. So having learned how we make movies, by the way, and I've directed a lot of theater, the next time I directed theater, I was like, we're directing the first act and the third act, and then we directed the last act second, or after the other. Second act last. Anyway, so Tammy and I now are here. We have time for questions, and I wanted to be available for questions. And I want you to come on in. How are you? Hi.
Well, sorry to interrupt. I got you some water.
Oh.
I'm filling in for Wendy Barron.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Your timing's perfect.
Oh,
What's
good.
your name? Thank
It's
you.
very nice to meet you.
I'm Danny.
I'm a little starstruck.
Oh, that's how you meet.
Yeah. My name's Jessie.
Jessie, Danny,
Yes.
our wife, Danny.
Hi, it's
Hi,
very
nice to meet you.
too.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Are you hanging out? or-
I am, I'm hanging out. I'm receiving the food and I'll be laying that out for you and.
Oh, thank you, Jesse.
Yes, absolutely.
Always stand up to shake someone's hand. Always stand up to shake someone's hand. Male or female, man or woman. It's how, because by the way, this is something to tell you guys. You want to make movies? Well, part of making movies is you got to get people to give you money to make movies.
Connections.
Right. Well, the connections, but not. I step live carefully because I know you're taught in this day and age often about networking. I want to tell you, and I'm allowed to say it because I'm the guest speaker, so I can introduce my higher power into this conversation. God did not create a world where we're supposed to make other people help us. He created a world where we're supposed to help other people. So networking is a perversion of the whole entire point of the human race. I'm here today not to network you, but to give you my knowledge, to help you, to say to you, how can I help you? I actually have a form and a opportunity that I could be of service to you. So I am here offering my service and my help to you. And so connections, very important, very important. Connections, very important, but do you serve the connection or expect the connection to serve you? When I am trying to find money for a movie, we're either doing it through our non-for-profit. Could you put up channelofpeace.org? Is that possible? It's on that computer.
Yeah, it's that computer.
Which, thank you. Just put it up. You don't have to do anything else, but just put it up. So I'm either making movies through my not-for-profit, which is a real not-for-profit. I've done 2 movies through this not-for-profit. I've directed 5 movies so far. How much money do you think I made as a director directing these movies? $1 million, $2 million?
No.
The 4 movies I directed, other than the one I was hired to direct, I've taken no salary.
And I've taken it.
No salary. And we work on these movies for 5 years, beginning to end. No salary. My daughter, no salary. Because I made this rule, anybody named Roebuck doesn't get paid. My daughter got married on purpose so she would have another last name. She's made a point of telling me that she's no longer technically a Roebuck, and we'll be like, where's my money, bitch? But to make these movies, I don't get paid. Now, that's not sustainable, but anybody who's building a business works for free for the first few years.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
They say 3 years, and I can attest.
Yeah, because you had your own business, right? So, so even getting people to donate, think of that. I'm not just asking for your money. I'm asking for your money, and all you're going to get back is the ability to say, I donated to that movie. That's all you're going to get. And a letter that tells Uncle Sam you gave me the money. If I'm equity financing a movie, that's how we make Getting Grace and some of
St.
Nick of Bethlehem. If I'm equity financing the movie, that means I got to find people to give me the money and trust me. And here's the key, hear this. They don't give a shit what your movie's about. They don't care at all. Oh, it's going to change the world. Oh, it's a good Christian movie. It's the greatest horror movie ever. They look at you, and this is exactly what they think. Will you screw me? Will you take my money? Will you buy yourself a car? Will you treat yourself to an expensive meal? Or will you put the money on screen? Say it again. Are you a liability? They invest in you. That's what they invest in. This is vitally important that you hear this and understand this. They don't care. Look, watch the news. Look how easy it is for people to take advantage of a system. Look at what's happening in Minnesota. I'm not speaking politically. I'm speaking in what they found. people taking money from the government, our money that we give them, and buying themselves luxury, living in a way that nobody else lives, and having no moral objection to it, right? So they're gonna look at you, are you a morally sound person? Are you an ethical person? That's all they wanna know. If you I'll tell you a personal story. My brother Ricky he's just that black sheep in our family, and he's always lost his way. And he finally went to college and got a degree in accounting, and met with my buddy who was a lawyer. And guess what the first thing he said to him was, I can do 2 versions of the books if you need it. So the very first thing he did was tell the guy that he could operate unethically. And the guy he was talking to was very ethical. And it was like, whoa, I'll never hire you now because I know. So this is important. You hear what I'm saying. You've got to be always as an upstanding citizen as you can. And if you're going to ask for someone's money, my God, you've got to be transparent about all of it. It's so important.
And one thing I'll say about the money part is the investor, or investors, but the investor that gives you the least amount of money will be the one that will be the craw on your side, asking when they're getting paid back. The one that gives you 6 figures, you know, they're patient. The one that gives you, you know, 5,000, 10,000, they're like, when am I getting it paid back? So just know, and I've done that. I do TV commercials, and the client who, you know, pays the least, they have the most, they're picky, they want 20 million changes. The one who paid the most money looks at it, goes, I love it, put it on the air. It's just an interesting phenomenon I've witnessed in my 30 years in the business. So
Humans are so interesting. Yeah. So anyway, I love part of this mentorship. It's just, again, speaking truth. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Hopefully no one filmed me saying that so they can't show it to my children. But I could be wrong, but you know, these things that we've learned. So I'm pleased. I hope that you have questions for me. Yes, Haley.
So this is more like a personal question. I'm a huge fan of Glee, and I wanted to know what was your experience on set? Because I know, like, from a lot of behind the scenes stuff I've watched, they have days where it's like, or weeks that's full of like rehearsal of the music numbers, and I'm just like filming scenes. Like, what did you see when you were working?
So the first thing that struck me in Glee. So again, I'm unfortunately completely honest about things. First thing that struck me about Glee was how old everybody was.
Yeah.
Like, I was, you know, they're like, this is a high school student. This is a high school student. Now, when I did the first movie I did, Cave Girl, I was 20, and I was playing a high school student. The second movie I did, River's Edge, which if you haven't seen it, it's a very good movie. I played a high school student at 22. These guys were 30, like 32. And I was struck by how old they were. So if you follow, there's a bully in the story of Karofsky. I played his dad. I'll say one of the craziest, most unique, difficult, brief, it's hard to explain. There's an episode where Karofsky tries to kill himself. And in that episode, I'm, you know, one of the guest stars, but we literally shot the entire guest star of the episode in a probably 20-minute window. I was waiting, shoot at Paramount. I waited all day in the trailer. I had purposely no interaction with the actor playing Karofsky. Terrific kid, because he was going through the whole thing of prepping and everything. We wanted to keep our distance, although we liked each other. And then they called me into the set, and they were prepping him with, you know, like some makeup. And I walked into the set, I had never met the director before, and he said, I know I'm asking a lot of you, but we have about 15 minutes to get what we need. And I was like, no, we'll get it, we'll get it. And I started kicking, they had the closet, and I was kicking these boxes, they had shoe boxes, and I kicked them all over. And he goes, what are you doing? I said, his legs would have been jerking around. And the director goes, oh my God. You know, like they didn't even think of that, right? So I sat down, they brought him in, he laid on me, they looked at me and I went like this, and then they just started filming. And then we got the first shot and the director said, I have time to move in for a close-up, do you mind? And I, said yes, because he wasn't moving. And then they got the close-up and that was it. And then I walked away. Max, the boy who played Karofsky, there was that whole thing in Glee, do you remember when he was throwing his slushies on people? So my daughter then, after we shot, she went to an all-girls Catholic school, and they had to do little videos about their class. And when she was a sophomore, they thought they would do a Glee parody. And he came to our house, I found a coat that matched his coat, and all the girls were like, hey, Karofsky, and he slushied them. And she said, people were like, what? How did you get that guy to do it? Because they didn't know that I was her dad. So he did, that's the kind of person he was. You know what I mean? Good guy. So that's my Glee memories. Yeah. Glee, nice. What else? Yes?
What do you like better, acting or directing?
Man, I do love them both.
You're good at writing too.
Thank you. Thanks, Mom. I love them both so much. But I think that because it's the anchor of, excuse me, the rest of my career. I don't know what. Okay, now I'm going Bill. Now I'm going Bill. What is changing? Maybe if I stand over here. The anchor of the rest of my career is acting. So I probably lean toward that of the two. I like doing them both at the same time. I've done it in a lot of theater. That's why I taught myself how to do it. I did it in the theater first. Because it's weird, you go to the other actor, I just change this, I need you to do this differently. And then you don't change yours, they're watching you not change yourself. So, and then I go, I'm going to do a few things different too. What I also love to do, by the way, you can do this as a director, if you have strong actors, is you take one actor. I never direct aloud. I take Kayleen away, and I tell her something. And sometimes I tell her something because I want him to do something different. So she has to do her role differently for me to get him to react, if I know he's a good reactor. Do you guys, if I say Madeline Dundon, do you know who I mean? The girl from Getting Grace. I discovered at Bethel Catholic High School, and now she's starred in 4 movies. This kid was like a crazy dynamo, like she just was an actor who listened. And that, I've starred her in 2 movies. And even put her in St. Nick of Bethel. I put her in for a 1-minute scene that I'd literally made up on the spot. And I'm telling you, when you watch the movie, you get choked up just watching a 1-minute scene. So yeah, probably acting. Other questions? Yes?
I can imagine you've gone through a lot, like directing, producing, writing, throughout the years. With everything that you've gone through, what's the struggle that you've had to deal with any of the titles that you weren't expecting that no one really warned you about?
Yeah, distribution is the hardest part. When you're making the movie, when you're making the movie, you get there, you're there before everyone, you're there after everyone. And they put this boulder at the bottom of the hill, and you gotta push that boulder up the hill, and you have all the people on your back, but you push that boulder, and you get to the top of the hill, and you're like, oh my God, thank God. Then you go home and you sleep 5 hours, and you wake up, and you get back to Center, and it's like, who the fuck? I put it up there. Now it's down here again. And I gotta roll it up again. So making the movie every day, there's a difficulty to it. And we, you know, you add difficulty. Let's shoot the football film in the heat of the summer. The film we shot Tuesday's Flu. We had an enormously complicated outboard scene. I only had one night to shoot it, and it was probably 20 degrees below zero while we're shooting it. So we're outside, freezing, and acting, and killing, and shooting, and all this other stuff.
In a quarry.
In a quarry.
Yeah.
So, but then you do all the work and you get it how you want it, and then there's simply distribution that you don't have any control over. And that's where your biggest leap of faith is. So that's the obstacle that is the most difficult, because we don't understand. How many people here know how to fix a motor? Anybody? I don't either. So when I take my car to the car, the guy knows, he can tell me anything. I like when they're like, let me show you the part. I go, I don't, what am I gonna bring? Oh yeah, we're gonna have to throw. I don't, you know, I don't know. You know, it's like, when they, well, we're gonna take out your appendix. Let me show it to you. I don't need to see it. If you don't think it belongs in there, I'm gonna trust that you know more than I do. So the problem with distribution is, it is such a tunnel of disinformation and misinformation and non-information that you can't, unless I wanted to spend 3 years and become a film distributor, there's no way I know what they're doing and how they're doing it, and most importantly, how they're ripping me off.
Unfortunately, to get you to go with them, they overpromise and most of the time underdeliver.
Kind of like our marriage. No, I meant I overpromise and underdeliver. Oh, you really took that the wrong way. I love working with my wife. Other questions?
Professor Berry kind of has a follow-up to the distribution. Sorry to interrupt, I just figured it was good.
Who does?
Professor Barron.
Oh, yes, Professor.
So she said, with working with Hawk Hill, how do they determine what theaters are played in nationwide? She has some friends in like North Carolina and DC, and was wondering, you know, if there was any chances of them getting in theaters there.
Yeah, so Hawk Hill, they're doing the same thing I do. They get up, they pick up the phone, they call. I've gotten half of the theater probably, and they've gotten the other half. What her friend should do is they should call the movie theater and say, are you gonna play this movie? I wanna see it. That's, Wendy, that's the best way to do it. It's not calling Hawk Hill and telling them about the theater. It's calling the theater and saying, try to figure out how to get this movie. Would be the easiest thing, distribution-wise.
And a lot of theaters, they have bookers which cover, you know, territories, and most movies have been booked months and months in advance. We're trying to, you know, weasel our way into theaters that have multiple screens, but when there's small independent theaters that are a 1 or 2 screen theater, you know, it's hard to get in last minute. So it's just,
we're doing the best
yeah,
we can.
we're happy.
Yes.
So you started off as an actor. How did you spread your wings, go to the other territories of filming, like directing, writing, you know, stuff like that?
Well, I started directing, I literally directed the first thing I ever directed in first grade, you guys. This is so ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
I came into Sister Kathleen, and this is why the main character of my movie is named Kathleen. It's an homage to her. I come into, can you imagine? I come in first grade, and Sister Kathleen's as old as you young ladies. Like, you know, what is she, 24, 25? She had just become a nun. And I come into Sister Kathleen with a pile of papers, and I say, I wrote a play. Like, I wrote a play. Now, Sister Kathleen, I always say, knew something that I didn't know. She knew that I didn't know how to write my own name or read, so how the hell did I write a play? But what I did in my feeble brain of a 6-year-old kid, because now you know how to read maybe before you go to first grade. Then you did not. That's what he taught every human being how to read, first grade. So I drawn pictures of the play, and I had different scenes, and I drew pictures. And Sister Kathleen said, oh, let's do your play. So in a moment of like, oh, she turned me from a kid with an idea to a creative person. And so she said, we've got to rehearse your play, you've got to get actors, rehearse your play, perform your play. We did all that. Seems silly when I say first grade because we know how little kids are. But it was the beginning of everything for me. And it made me always want to write, always want to direct. As an actor, I started writing scripts right after I got to Hollywood. But what I ended up doing was getting married, having kids. This is going to seem silly, but you know, acting was how I made my money, sometimes a lot of money, right? And so that's how I put my kids through Catholic school and lived in a nice house. And making that joke earlier, my wife saying you're not funny, but because I was funny, I worked all the time. And so I couldn't disconnect, as I just said, you know, we've taken no money to make these movies. I looked at a bank slip from right after we shot Getting Grace, because I put all of my money, my time, my effort, and then I couldn't make anybody else's movie for about a year. I couldn't act, and I looked at that and I was like, oh my God, how the hell did I get through that point in time? I started doing documentaries first. That's where I started just using the camera and telling stories, because then I could do while I was acting. And then, you know, took the leap. So that's how I took that. Meredith, you had a question?
Yeah, this was actually for Tammy. So I remember you said I went to the Zoom meeting on Wednesday for the premiere, like volunteering, and you said that you were the editor. Were you the only editor for this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny's, what we do is, there's a program we use that he can take the footage and he can kind of storyboard it with the clips, and he as the director, it saves me time because he could do it on his own and really pick the takes he likes for performance especially, and then I will take that sequence and then see if I can make it work continuity wise. And most of the time we can. There's just sometimes where we just can't, you know, or we do some tricks. If a water bottle's in the wrong hand, we make an edit at a point where people didn't notice. But he'll sit with me, and because it's his movie and he's the director, and I would say a lot of times directors sit with editors, and I just love editing with them. So for the most part, we're together during the post, and then once he's got the scene, then he can leave, and then I go in and I really clean up the sound. I'll put in effects. And he is really good at picking temporary music. So he has a friend who will send us music scores from movies that are already done, that maybe they're football, you know, We Are Marshall, and
But I'll think, I say to my buddy who's a professional temper,
right.
That's what he does for a living for, you know, the studio. You know, I'll think, I want music like this, and then he'll find me those scores, and then I listen to them and start.
Yeah.
It is, by the way, they say you don't know what you don't know. I'm gonna, like I inverted the other thing, I want to tell you something else. You don't know what you do know until you try it. I am not schooled in music, taught in music, I know nothing about music, but I love film scores. So when I started temping my movies, like I realized that's where that's how you crescendo, that's how you cut that. And I had found this hidden talent. I didn't know what I did know because I never needed to access that information before. But yeah, so I'll do And it's great because I know I know that I like the third take of that line, but the second take of the line before. So I can pull those takes and put them where I want. So I kind of do a pre-edit, and then she finesses everything.
Yeah. And it's,
And fixes stuff that if it
Yeah.
has to be fixed.
And one thing I learned, because I started in live television and doing live sports and then running a government TV station for 8 years. But I mostly do industrial videos, so I'm doing short videos that are more documentary style, or I'll do TV commercials. But cutting a film is so different because it's also not, you're not putting the person who's speaking is not necessarily the person that you should be covering in your edit. Sometimes cutting to the person listening and reacting is more powerful. Just a fun editor story, George Lucas's wife edited Star Wars.
That's why they're divorced.
and Empire, and she was done. She didn't want to edit Return of the Jedi. And when it came to the scene where Darth Vader asked Luke to take off his helmet so he could see him, it was a horrible cut, and he pleaded with his wife to come back and fix it, and she did. And she was just good at cutting to draw the emotion, and those are skills that I'm learning, from Danny being a director of, how to cut. I'm a good editor, but it's, I'm learning a lot through the process of, how to cut things, to create that emotion you need, or the comedy. And we learned from getting Grace, sometimes with editing comedy, you have to hold that next line. Don't jump into the next line because your audience is laughing and you're not going to hear that next line. And especially when you have an audience of, like we did, this past weekend with 600 people laughing. If there was an important line coming up right after, you gotta hold it so that, and that's important too. So, good things to learn.
Can I ask a little more?
Yeah.
So obviously you said that you worked in television, live broadcasting, and now you're doing commercials. And you said that film editing is different from those other types of editing. What are some pieces of advice you give for film editing as opposed to editing something else, like a commercial?
I mean, you're still storytelling, and that's the most important thing. I will tell you, I have all of a sudden I was doing 30-second commercials, and then all of a sudden all my clients started coming to me, especially during political season, because the politicians eat up all the airspace, and they'll come to me and say, I only have time, they're only giving me 15 seconds for my commercial. And it takes a lot of skill to inform an audience of a product you're selling in 15 seconds. So I always would recommend, what we used to call bookends, where, they may start a commercial break with a 15-second and then have another 15-second that may tell another piece of the story. But it's really just the storytelling. It's all the same. What can you do to give the audience as much information as possible? Maybe you're adding, not in feature films, but in industrials, maybe you're adding graphics on the screen to give you that extra information. You're putting a visual there, and then you have another piece of information in the audio, in the voiceover. So it's just really looking at all of your things and saying, are you giving them the story you want to get across? Whether it's a 15-second or it's a 2-hour movie. It's just, how are you cutting it to make sure that everyone is getting the information? And look, we shot a movie in Connecticut. The first cut Danny and I did together of the shooting script, the movie was 2.5 hours. And the final cut is now 1 hour and 47 minutes. I mean, cutting out 34 minutes of a movie, are you still telling the same story? And fortunately we are, but that's just something to think about when you're also like that nun, that was a heartbreaker. I love that scene so much. It's a great laugh, but it didn't, taking it out didn't change any of the information that the audience needed to get to move the story forward, so.
Yeah, I would just say lean on story, always, and then, you know, in comedy, the setup, this is something I've had to teach Tammy. The line that's the setup has to be on camera.
Right, in comedy, yes.
In comedy, the line that's the setup has to be on camera. The reaction is where you're gonna get the laugh, but, you know, it's the old Gilligan cut, you know, you can't make me, you can't make me, you can't make me, but he's wearing the dress and doing the hula dance.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's the reaction to, but you can't make me, you can't make me, you can't make me, has to be on screen.
And Danny will also say he learns comedy, he learns right by watching The Honeymooners, watching, you know, The Odd Couple, watch stuff. You know, I watch TV commercials so differently now, you know, because I do it for a living. I watch documentaries very differently, you know.
And documentaries have kind of morphed into, there's a great documentary called Soaked in Bleach.
Soaked in Bleach,
Which
yeah.
is about Kurt Cobain and his death, which is now all being speculated on again. But this documentary is really 15 years ago told that, or 12 years ago told that story. But it was a documentary, plus I was playing the guy who kind of broke the case. And so these documentaries have, you know,
there's like reenactments, like he played the investigator.
Yeah, but not like,
melded together.
yeah, not reenactments like forensic files.
Right,
like
right.
Cinematic
Right.
storytelling, you know, beautifully photographed, well-acted scenes. Yeah, and at some point Tammy should come back when we're in town, and she does a fun class in
They do an
editing,
editing
where we just
class.
talk, we take our bank robbery from
Lucky
Louie, and she shows how we constructed it, and then how the music and everything added to it.
But one thing I do tell students real quick is to become a good shooter, you should actually edit your own stuff, because there's nothing worse than, as an editor, getting footage and there's not enough to work with. And so I always tell any film students, video production students, do everything. Shoot and then sit and edit, because you will figure out becoming a better shooter because you're going to give yourself enough material to work with. I do a project in Tennessee every year where I have to run through a nursing home in 1 hour, do an interview and get B-roll, and I know as an editor exactly what I need to get that 3-minute package done, and that's just going to help you if you're in a run and gun situation of getting enough material to work with.
One other thing, I know Jesse, we're going to say we're going to eat in a second.
We're gonna have you guys eat up before the 1 o'clock.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me say this, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you for
absolutely.
that. The last thing, you're directing your movie, right? The greatest joy of it is when I'm gonna tell you a story, and then I'm gonna tell you another story. So I was shooting Getting Grace at the same time I was starring on a series called Man in the High Castle, and they kept calling to bring me onto the show while I was filming Getting Grace, and I couldn't go, and I couldn't go, and I couldn't go. So finally, I guess I screwed them over so much, they decided to write me out. But the last scene that I shot there, I finally got to where we were shooting it, and the director had directed me in an NYPD, CSI, regardless. He's a Polish guy. And he goes to me, and I'm going to quote him. He goes, I'm quoting. He goes, where the fuck have you been, man? What, you're so busy you can't be in the fucking TV show you're supposed to be? He goes, where have you been, man? We're shooting this scene now in this place where your character never would have been because of you and your schedule. Where the fuck? And I go, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I go, dude, I just directed my first movie. And you should be that proud of me, because I don't think I fucked it up. And he stops and he looks at me and he goes, you directed your first movie? I said, yes. And he looks at me and he goes, of course you fucked it up. And I was like, Jesus, God. So then we're in editing. And I'm like, don't we have a shot of that? And the editor goes, no, you never shot it. But I just hear, fuck it up, fuck it up. Right. So the thing is, and even as like the guy who acted in it, directed it, I say, well, you need my close-up after that shot. We got to find. He goes, the editor goes, you don't want to use it. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you're not very good. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm sure I'm fine. He goes, "No, not really." I said, show me the shot. So he puts it in, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I was trying to do. I was trying to do, I don't know. It was very good. So of course you fuck it up. But the fun is, how do you extract yourself from your mistake? Oh, I don't have that shot. Well, I know I'll get that shot next time. Or do I have a shot? How can I cut to it? You're always in a point where, or you say, I'm going to switch the story a little, so it's so much easier to go in and then add dialogue over someone's shoulder, which we do all the time. All right, why don't we eat? Well, we're going to eat and still talk?
That's okay.
Where do we go? Who does?
Yeah, go get your pizza.
Yeah,
Go get your pizza.
Do they feed you every class?
No, I didn't even know we were getting anything.
Yeah, this is just,
It's because of this.
it's a good start. I'm not standing on that. Every
This person's my social media.
Oh, do you have Justin Hyman as well?
Yes.
For social media?
Yeah.
Oh, what studio?
I'm
I'm
gonna
in studio
just center up until we get back to
Wait.
You're confusing.
Oh, there's my finger. Finger got
No, you're good.
really
Wait, we stay here until 2.
riveting,
We all stay-
riveting
yes.
broadcast
Okay.
right
Yes.
there.
You're like messing him up.
Here's a funny story for you. I came to this room at 9:30 thinking it was that 9:30. It was not. I go to the script writing class thinking that I'm not late. I go there.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, you are? Okay, I was gonna say,
So
well,
now
I
I'm
think this
waiting
could be
another
on,
hour
but thank you so
afterwards.
much for doing that. I really appreciate you running, and I didn't realize that you were going to the store. I probably maybe could have tried to call somebody on campus, but you're already gone. I'm like, oh, but you were fast.
I was like,
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I thought you were really fast, so thank you.
I get to sleep for like an hour, then I wake up at 9. I go back to sleep, and then I finally.
I've probably been using them. Yeah.
My mom said Scully lives here.
I wonder
So did Sarah.
I might have had more somewhere else.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, that's the only place I
Oh, I have a pocket. I think I have a pocket. Or is this just one of those where it's like, no, it's a full pocket. Oh, yeah.
That's all, she arranged that. I didn't do it.
Y'all not gonna eat?
We had Dunkin' like an hour ago.
Okay.
You, I need to borrow you. I need to borrow you.
Oh, you're being stolen. I'm being stolen. Okay.
So, right.
All the new ones?
No, I want to watch that dog.
Oh, yeah.
Of course you would, yes. Would you like a fancy napkin? Oh, yes,
What are
absolutely.
you working on so diligently? I'm trying not
I'm
to.
trying to turn on my encryption key to my computer.
I had one of my friends.
I mean, if we're learning stuff, that could wait.
Oh, I've been
Do something.
Yeah.
And sorry.
Go get some meat. I'm sure we spent a fortune on this.
Nice work.
His hair looked green.
Why is he joking?
The blanket blanket. It was a blanket.
Yes,
I just emailed you
yesterday.
Oh,
I mean, you're such a
I know.
When I got your message, I literally was like, oh my gosh, you're the student that cares about these things. So I was very excited.
Yeah, literally. Thank you, email.
Oh, no, definitely. Yeah, I have a lot of experience with it because everybody's always so on state over laws that we're breaking. So because of that, they were hyper, I don't want to say sensitive, but in tune with what needed to happen. So that's why they developed their own website and all that. So that's why I said that too. But there may be some other resources out there. But I would start with that one because it's pretty good. So I'm glad that you're interested in that.
No, I'm glad.
And it's a really great thing to add to your resume too, because we don't talk about it enough here, I don't think, but maybe we will eventually. But if you throw that around in an interview, like, yeah, I'm aware of this part and, you know, the inclusiveness and, but from that standpoint, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to come and introduce myself because I'm not sure. Like, I've done a lot of online classes, but I never really got to meet too many people who've taught them in real life. And I was like, oh wait,
I'm
I
so
think this is my professor.
Yes, and I'm always like, I always feel bad for the students that I do have online that don't take other classes with me, because once in a while we'll run into each other, and I'm like, do I know?
Did you let,
you
did Adam, like,
I'm like,
during
oh,
your
of
birthday
course.
party, you then, like,
And I
you,
believe,
like, then,
not to put
like,
Cody on the
knock
spot,
everybody out
he is
with, like,
also.
But there's Cody. Hi, it's nice to see you again.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
The doctor's appointment.
Yeah. I got to meet Cody a couple. When was that?
Oh, it was like my second
It was
semester.
a while ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was, during a luncheon.
we did a luncheon and I sat next to him and we had a lovely afternoon and I was so excited to see your name on my list. I'm like, I know him. So, well, I hope you feel better, Cody.
Thank you. I hope I do too.
Get yourself some pizza.
I did, but
You
yeah.
did?
We have
Okay.
backpacks.
Hmm.
We have backpacks.
You don't need your backpack.
I'm gonna go put it back.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he's done a lot of filming.
It was nice to talk with you.
Nice to talk
I'll
with
probably
you.
email you.
Oh, yeah. Never hesitate. Always. Totally fine.
ADAing and whatnot.
How are you?
Yeah, he's really nice dog.
Well, working with Cody, he wanted to know next play. I don't know what
He actually helped calm me down a little. Like, I was really nervous. He was like,
That was awesome.
my first, the first thing I did was, like, I was driving to people.
I made a board
And I was like, I've never driven a van this big.
pictures of.
Oh, you were driving the too.
I was not the same exact one you had,
You were doing the one
I
that
still have to
Mag
figure out how to make
Yeah.
the cornucopia. It's a really,
I had
like,
to
it's
drive
like
that
this
one.
big, so I have to make it small enough to fit, so that people could tell what it is. That one's based on the second one. And then like, I'm gonna decorate it myself.
Yeah, didn't you have to go to
It was
New
my
York?
first movies arena.
Yeah, that was.
And then I also made,
I had to take the big.
I went all out. These are health points. Everyone gets like a certain amount of health points. I think everyone's getting like 7.
Oh, jeez.
And then there's a little things.
Let alone driving something.
Yep. And then
What?
I also have.
Driving something that big alone.
That's the first.
So in the city.
I turned the girl.
How to do it, and then that's the back.
My normal.
He stole my butter.
That's good for the time seated.
I'm so ready. And it's not my birthday yet. It's this
At
weekend.
least you warned him.
This Saturday, so. And then I'm making decorations, actively making decorations. I made a sign on my hand, you can kind of see that it's red. It's because I put paint on it. And so, the odds are never in our favor. But with using my hand, I should have put a glove on. I didn't. So now my hands are red-ish, especially my nails. So, yeah, I used like 3 different paints because I ran out of the first one and then the other one. And I kept making the mistake of putting it here and then using my hands.
I have another one.
So then I have a ton on here and nothing up here. And I have to slap it down. And then,
Is Hunger Games your hyperfixation?
it's one of them, the other one's Alice in Wonderland, and then the other one's The Walking Dead.
Speaking of The Walking
Well,
Dead,
you mentioned it.
Yeah, nobody told
there's gonna be like a news report, there's gonna be the pre-recorded video, like, where they're in the scene during the zombie outbreak, right? Can I please use you guys for like it's like because I just want to be able to like my acting time just go like do a blood curdling scream. Please, that's all I do. I just want to be somebody who can scream.
Who's gonna bite you? I didn't even know. Who's gonna bite you? Is he gonna bite you?
I don't know. I think it was.
I'm gonna bite you. Who's gonna bite you?
I don't know.
Should I have auditions like where you can get goes?
Yeah, it would make sense. Right next to each other.
Yeah. She's my writer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the videos?
I'll tell you my idea. You should do that. Like he's obviously the one that's in here.
Yeah, they want to be able to.
Yeah.
Who's that's in to learn every aspect of the business where they just show up and said.
I wish I would have star.
Telling my
Stars.
I want to do.
I better be starstruck in college.
And then keep one that stuff. Because you could crash. You'll love the crashes. We had the break.
When you want to stream.
And
That's fine, yeah.
the audience got to vote and the actors.
So interesting.
Scared to show you got to vote. There are the people that
Be the other one.
and there's no sound. I know there's like
I feel like
your heads on
he's the one. He's the one. Because he wants to get eaten and scream more.
I want to do a blood curdling scream.
Or you want to scream. I used to do the way.
Oh, really?
I never had
No.
Do you know what it is?
No.
I got a slow video.
I do this really. I didn't know it was I was lucky enough. My first day, my daughter got so like, I could not see. It's a video that's no. Come down to two.
That's what they are. And I showed these to my people, like, you're not, if you do this, you're on a issue.
Trying to buy a house here.
This is like the half.
You never have time.
Cool as half.
But you know, when I'm here, I'm probably sold out. Maybe I lost. Wait,
I know I have it. Oh, it is wrong. I already did that. If I started.
Oh my god.
But I also know that.
Which I know you're right. To give them
Hours.
everyone wants to know what this is what we're looking
In
at.
my editing class.
Sure, I'll be right back.
My dad. Even the front line.
To like elevate your production quality.
Imagine
I don't have to learn After Effects. I know After Effects, but not to build these things from scratch.
So like you would do creepy voices and stuff to like scare people.
Change the colors or.
I think there's voices.
Oh, it's you on the radio. No, not yet. I haven't.
I didn't. I think. Well,
I don't know, I can see you.
I didn't read the recently, but I did go through like the.
It reminded me of voice
I got to go through the Jordy Park has like a similar thing. I've only watched one of the.
Oh, there's a fifth one. It's called iPad now. That I'm not even sure. That's so sad.
Get that on our Thursday.
Okay. Hey, how are you doing? Good. How's your family?
It's so realistic.
Good. You enjoy it here?
No.
Gem pieces? Well, tell your mother I said hi. I'm Jessie. Your mom will probably remember me. Just remember. You remember? Okay, good, good. I know it was a very long time ago, but I remember your family very fondly.
That's a good screen.
Glad they're all doing well. And it's nice to see you here.
Why you guys were there?
That was a lot of fun.
I love it. Because the he made him as her character. Yeah, she made him as that's what he's called.
And then she just never
I always thought Woody.
I need your son to use the come in and have a seat.
Hi, how are you? I'm Tracy, I'm Dr. Beaver's assistant.
I could actually, not even know, like, I could actually, I was like
Hi, and say hello to you and welcome to your campus. Oh, we're so extraordinarily lucky to have you. Thank you. Oh, thanks, I just had so much. Thank you so much.
you know, you're gonna have glasses, gold chain.
Speak to left if you
You're gonna have rings on your finger. You know, here. Color.
His head kind of exploded, so.
Oh, so you want to rebuild it?
I have to just color his face. He's a cat creature. Okay, now where?
So did you did you guys like read the chapter that you guys for this class? Okay. Surprisingly, I did.
What's the song?
It was long, and I don't know if I remember everything. There's a lot of information. But
Iron Man. Like cartoon movies or like action? Oh. No, I did something like what is it? Like remind me. I think Chris No. That's so cute. Reminds me of
Christopher Jensen. What's up, yo?
You get out of class check? Get out of class? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Although mine was like falling apart. I was like, okay, man.
And then this is another one.
No. No, but this is actually another one. Talk about It's probably pretty
Then you don't get work. You have to work your job. You have to take the or you can do the paid jobs.
Out of all, it's like kind of like flying with the sports stuff. If I didn't do the free stuff here, he would have never brought me a Lafayette. It does, yeah. Yeah.
What are you, what exactly are you into?
That's the little mushroom you step on and show. Get up. Imagine that.
Last year, he showed
There's a new one up on this.
not good enough. Some,
Is this
maybe some more local.
I got that can be a Halloween costume.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He's directing a lot of
This is
stuff.
the new Mario.
Acted in a lot. Which is pretty cool.
You guys who are joining us, hello. Thank you for coming. There is a little food there. I think if you want to enjoy yourself, get something. Manja. And they say you got it, you do it. Who in college turns down free pizza? Nobody.
Better than not.
Yeah. My son could find a free pizza anywhere in the world. If he knew pizza was free, he'd be like, I heard there might be pizza.
My students know I usually start every class by telling them where they can find free food on campus that day.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
is there free food on campus every day?
Not every day, but there's a lot of events that go on. And they can maybe scrounge up a couple cookies, a brownie here or there.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah.
When I used to, I'm going to just start talking because we're going to be informal. My name is Daniel Roebuck. I'm here with my wife, Tammy Roebuck. She's shoving down the salad. We'll wait for people because it's warm. But I worked for a regional theater. We used to have a regional equity theater here in Allentown called the Pennsylvania Stage Company. And I worked in their box office. And there would be these guys with MFAs from, theater MFAs who are our interns. And I noticed that everything I needed to know about becoming an actor, I could have learned because I would watch these guys at any event we had where the interns were there helping out, and then I'd watch them hit the platters when everybody was gone. And they'd grab every other sandwich and shove it in their pockets. We started bringing them bags so they didn't have to put food in their pockets. But everything I needed to know about the theater, you learn. The first time I went to the Pennsylvania Playhouse, I was 13. And we walked in, my mother and I, because I decided I wanted to be an actor, and there was the janitor cleaning up. And we interrupted the poor guy doing his duties, and I said, hi, I'm here to audition. And the janitor said, oh, terrific, I'm so glad you're here to audition. Go into the room, it's called the green room back there. Go ahead into the green room. That's where the auditions are. And so I went into the green room and I sat down, and all the other actors were in the green room getting ready to start. And then the janitor walked in and sat down in front of everyone and said, hi, I'm the director of the play, Hunt Matthews. And I was trying to figure out why the janitor is the director of the play, but really that was God telling me, this is everything you need to know about becoming an actor. One day you're directing the play, the next day you're cleaning the toilets. And to this day, and this is not a lie, I go to the Pennsylvania Playhouse, and if the toilets are not up to my satisfaction, when everybody goes in to sit for the second act, I go to the closet, leave the toilet, and then I go in and enjoy the play. Everything, all the information you need is always put in front of you, and I could talk about that at length, but we're here. So this is neat that you guys, we've got community people here. I see one of my actors, look at him, he's all grown up. I've known you since you were 10. What are you, he's like, I'm 12 now. How old are you now? 19. 19. Holy Hannah, hi, how's that? I met you. Hi. Who's that? Your girlfriend? If I had your hair, I look, my son is 20, you know, the poor kid's mini me.
28.
28. I meant 28. But I'm always looking at his hair. I'm like, look at that hair. That's the hair I used to have. Well, why don't we begin in the best way possible. I'll have Jesse introduce me. Yeah, you come up here.
Yeah, I've
please.
got some background
You look so
information I want
lovely.
to share with all of that.
Oh, you're going to tell them about
I'm
me?
going to tell them about you.
Oh, all right.
Is that all right with you?
Should I sit here? I know I have to avoid right here. This is where I'm going.
I know this is informal, but I think that it was just, you know, I have to give you some information about these folks who are standing in front of you, because like I said when I met Danny earlier, I'm a bit starstruck because of his long career. And Tammy, I didn't know all these fantastic things about you either until before I started. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's done amazing things. So let me tell you about the amazing things that these two people have done and how lucky you are to have them here on campus with you today. I'm Jessie Hyman. I have a lot of you in class. I'm an assistant professor of communications here. I get to work alongside really talented people like Wendy Barron, who I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But before that, so our guests here today are a powerhouse creative team. Their careers span Hollywood, broadcast history, independent film, and faith-based storytelling. Danny Roebuck has spent more than 4 decades building one of the most diverse and impressive resumes in the entertainment industry. From his breakout role in The River's Edge to blockbuster hits like The Fugitive, one of my favorites, family favorites like Agent Cody Banks, do you guys remember that one? The memorable series Lost, Matlock, Daniel has become one of Hollywood's most recognizable and beloved character actors. He portrayed real-life icons like Jay Leno. He stepped onto the hard legacy as Grandpa Munster in The Munsters, and he's uniquely part of an extraordinary list of cinematic universes, from Star Wars and Star Trek to Marvel and Halloween. Beyond acting, he's a writer, he's a director, multiple feature films to his credit, including Getting Grace, Lucky Louie, and his latest project that I'm sure they'll talk about today, The Hail Mary. Alongside him is an equally accomplished force in media and production, Tammy Roebuck. At just 19 years old, she produced and directed Q-Zoo 2, one of the first radio with pictures programs in the country, a groundbreaking format that literally helped pave the way for televised radio shows nationwide as we know them. She went on to produce professional sports broadcasts, launched innovative programming models. She eventually led Hillsborough Television, where under her leadership, the station was named the nation's best government television station. Later, she founded Beam Productions, producing content for major organizations across the country, the strategic producing partner behind their family-focused films. Together, through Magic Bean Entertainment and their nonprofit, A Channel of Peace, Danny and Tammy Roebuck are creating meaningful, faith-driven, family-friendly films while continuing to shape the industry in front of and behind the camera. And I will just say from a personal perspective, I love that I can sit down with my kids, watch your movies, and know that they're going to be entertained and that I'm not going to be embarrassed by anything that might come up on the screen. So thank you for that as a mom. They graciously agreed to come and talk to all of us today about their careers and about their latest film, The Hail Mary. The Roebucks split their time between Burbank, California and Tampa, Florida, but they're with us right here at Lehigh-Carbour Community College. Thanks to the efforts of Professor Wendy Barron, whom we all know and love. Many of the Roebucks movies are shot right here in the Lehigh Valley. Danny's from Bethlehem, and Wendy has been involved with so many of their projects, including The Hail Mary. I want to also mention, and this was Wendy said, you have to make sure that you mention it. She didn't want to be mentioned, but she made sure that I mentioned some students. She said, you also make sure that that they know that there's students and alumni who were involved and how fantastic that was and how proud she is of all of them. She wanted me to mention Aaron Woods, the set director, Derek Kursop, a second AD, and Eliana Velas, who was a key PA. She said there were several others who served as PAs on this film. So what a fantastic opportunity. We are very thankful, extremely thankful.
for this partnership. We're thankful that you could be here, and we're really thankful for the opportunities that you've helped create here for our students. So with that, please join me in welcoming Danny.
If there's a way you could just keep that handy so when I die, maybe I'll need a
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'll need a eulogy. Tammy is the backbone of everything. Come on in, come on in. Good. We thought that we had spoken to, oh, is there a camera? I hate having my picture taken. She's just going click, click. She's not even hitting the button. He'll never know. I'm so happy to be here. Tammy and I love this community, and we love the fact that we were here earlier. We got to talk to the students in regard to filmmaking and the process of filmmaking. And I know there's people here who may not be in the same kind of classes and community people. So we thought for this segment, this seems a little self-aggrandizing, but how about a little video about me? This is called the actor's reel. So believe it or not, I still spend a lot of time begging for jobs, which I don't really mind doing. But we often now kind of hope that we'll let the past work speak for me. So here's what I do for a living.
You know, when I was a kid, my father, he wasn't around a lot. But when he was around, there was always some really great pearls and wisdom. He'd say, if they stand behind you, you protect them. If they stand beside you, you respect them. And if they stand against you, eliminate them. Question simple. Where do you stand? I'm in. I'll coach.
You should warn a person before you blow their mind.
But I have conditions. Number one, I don't want to hear what Jesus has to say about this, because I can tell you right now, Jesus has no idea what I'm going through at this moment in my life.
Okay.
And number two, I want to pick the team, and I want you to make whoever I pick play. Can you do that?
If I make a gym class, everyone has to participate.
I've seen some of the kids around here, not all of them, just the kids I pick.
Everybody or nobody. It's not my rule, it's God's. He's very inclusive. My hands are tied.
Okay, fine. They can all be on the team, but they can't all play.
Well, if they want to play, they have to play. But they don't have to start.
Can I tell you something? You're a real piece of work, you know that.
Seems big enough. Who called it me? Help me! Norman! Try not to panic! It's okay, Norman. It's okay, sweetheart. Oh, Julie! Stay still, Norman. I'm coming for you. It's time. You're not going to die. Amen. He wasn't strapped in. No, I needed something to do with being told someday.
When I was 20, I would have gladly traded places with you, so I wouldn't have had to feel that pain ever again. And then one day you came into my life, and I thought, maybe it's time for another adventure. And then a couple weeks back, Joey's come home. Laughing. Drunkenly laughing over nothing. As he didn't understand that she had the power to kill me once more. And then what do I do when you're gone? Mom, you got a job.
Did I hear you say you got a job?
Yes.
A real job?
No, Mom, I got one of those fake jobs, the ones where they pay you with monopoly money. Yes, I got a real job.
I'm sorry, Nicholas. I am. It's just, I don't know, lately, there's just been a lot of false hope, you know? I'm so proud of you.
I'm gonna work for Charlie.
Now I'm going crazy. Or did I just hear you say you're gonna work for your brother?
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, Nikki. I don't think that's the best idea. Matter of fact, that's the worst idea.
Wait, why?
Because you hate him.
No, Mom, no, Mom, I don't hate anybody.
He hates you.
Yeah, that one is. But like that, I went in there and I told him, just because Pop left you, the dealership doesn't mean that I can't work there.
And he agreed to that.
No. So I told him we needed the money.
How'd that go?
Not so good. Then I offered to work for commission only.
Oh, and that was fine?
Not at all. We settled that. I'm gonna work for half commission, and I have to pick up his laundry, his dry cleaning, his cigars, and a certain medication, the purpose of which I'm not gonna discuss with our mother.
Brought him to the court, just like your father.
Okay, at least I turned out normal.
Who's hungry?
Nitroglycerin is the most dangerous and unstable explosive known to man. Any of you ever hear about the guy who invented nitroglycerin? Probably not, because he blew his freaking face off. His lab assistant came into the room, saw that his men are detonated, and he said, huh, I guess this stuff does work. All right, we're not going to take any more of this stuff than we need because nitroglycerin is extremely temperamental. So we...
3, 2. These two brothers work together, they play together, and they live together in the house behind this diner. You know, a brother is someone who always...
I don't mean to interrupt you there, Stan, but I don't know where you got the idea that we're brothers.
Well, I mean, you got the same last name. I just assumed one of your cousins.
We're married!
You what?
Tied to that last year in Hawaii. I took his name because this modern idea of couples keeping their own names, that's a lot of bunk. Funny story about that. We were going to take Lou's name because Pete's never liked being Pete Peterson. Never did. But my last name's Cockburn, and I just...
He's not going to come through all the security, go to the county lockup to find some of his own people saying it's not existent. Hinky. What does that mean, Vince? Hinky? That's right. Well, let's say strange or weird. A hinky, that has no meaning. We say hinky. I don't want you guys using words around me. I'm going to take the stairs. Well,
about taking care of me and my kid. You sat there on Jerry's deathbed. You said, I'll take care of your wife and daughter. I heard you say that.
I did say that. I did say that, you know, and I meant it then. But now, you know, I know you almost cost me this job.
You don't need this job. Let's have it on the phone. I guarantee us a job, $25 million. We can walk out of here.
Goodbye.
Don't you leave me, you two-faced bastard.
What do you want to do? What are you going to do? What do you want to do? You want to break this? You want to break this?
You got some honest on you.
Thank you so much. What a weird way to make a living. Running from that side over to this side. You guys were here earlier, but every time I stood there, I started coughing. So I don't know, they should bring in the hounds, you know, the dogs that can find dead bodies. See if there's a dead body there. That's what I've been doing for the last 42 years, plus making movies. You saw a scene from the Hail Mary, which is opening this weekend. Who here has seen it, the Hail Mary? We had these guys volunteered for us. Oh, thank you. We had a huge premiere this weekend, and it's opening. It's going to be at the Roxy, at the Frank Banco Whale House, at the State Theater in Boyertown, and in Greenville. What is that? The Grand.
The Grand and
Civic at some point.
Pocono Cinema.
And Civic Cinema. So,
And Civic, I think the Civic Theater now in town.
yeah. So please go see it. Andy, you're in it. You see Andy's got a little moment in there. Thank you for coming out and being part of that. Proof positive, I don't just say it, we cast Out of the Valley. Andy, you've been in 2 movies so far, right?
I was background in Bucky movie as well.
I call that cast. As a former extra myself, I consider myself part of the cast. And then Tammy, we don't have a reel for Tammy, but for those of you who don't know, aside from being my producing partner and a partner in our not-for-profit Channel of Peace, Tammy has, as Jess said, has had a long, good career of storytelling as a commercial person, but we want to make sure we talk about today her work for the filming the games.
Yeah, live sports.
Yeah, and when it came to writing when it came to writing the Hail Mary, you know, I played football in 8th grade. I was very good at it, and I was scouted for for high school. That's how it was. You know, they'd watch you play in 8th grade. And Becca was very excited that a big guy like me was coming to play. And then I did a play at the Pennsylvania Playhouse that I was talking about. The janitor cast me in the play, and in the play. And please, I'm not a pervert. Imagine I was 13. A 22-year-old girl took all of her clothes off and put a different costume on right in front of me. And I decided, this is where God wants me to be. I could go to, you know, the locker room, or I could come to the theater. And by the way, she was on to me because I was there every single night after that. And she never, ever came back and gave me that same treat. But, so I'm not a pervert, but I was 13. Okay. I didn't play football in high school, and when it came time, Tammy's one of 2 twins. That's probably redundant. I could have just said one of twins. because if there's twins, there's only two. But the other one, they decided in the family, one was gonna be the girl twin, and the other one was gonna watch sports with her dad. So Tammy became the sportsman. So when I knew what the football plays would be, but I needed Tammy to tell me, what's that called again? Play action, right, play action. But so we'll talk about that too, but enough about her, more about me. I'm here at a community event, so we're here to talk about the films we make, the stuff I've been in. Can I answer to those of you who are new? Can I answer any questions? Because I can ask you questions, thank God there's a question. Yeah.
Were your parents supportive of your decision of like being an actor?
Were my parents supportive? Great question. Okay. I'm gonna tell you a story. I got a good story. I got a lot because I'm old. I don't look old, but I am old, so I have a lot of questions. Okay, I look old. Fine, I agree. I look old. I was begging for a compliment, but I did a news station interview, and we talked about the career and coming from the town, and the guy on the news, we were done. He goes, "Oh, Dan, you know, we're taking the microphones off and the news is off there." And I say, "What?" He goes, "Oh, you know, my daughter was just like you. She was an entertainer from the time she was a little kid, and all she wanted to do was entertain, and she was an actor. She was so good at play. And when she said she was going to go to college to become an actor, I said, no, you're not. You're going to go get a degree in something you understand and you can make a living at, and that's what's going to happen." He goes, "And then I look at you and all your success, and I feel terrible." And I said to the guy, let me just relieve you of your guilt. It's gone, poof. Because you did everything a parent's supposed to do. You tried to protect your child from being hurt. She did not do what she was supposed to do, which was ignore you. Because my dad, let me tell you, I got the greatest dad, and I got the greatest mom. But Mom was always on my side. Mom helped me write my jokes. When I ran away to the circus, she actually drove me because I had to be there every weekend. She was always there for me. She took me to every magic show. She was always on my side. And even when I started directing in the theater and working more and more in the theater, she would stage manage for me and be part of the experience. And that was great. And Dad, you know, was a working class guy, and you guys, I'm sure others of you have come across this. You're like, I want to make movies. And that sounds to them like, I don't want to dig ditches. Now the fact is, I don't want to dig ditches. But because I've worked with my father and we dug a lot of ditches on weekends putting in water lines for people, I can say that the best day I've ever had digging ditches is not as good as the worst day I've ever had on a set. So I'm glad that I ended up where I am. But look, let me talk about that. Let me talk about that, because we discuss this a lot in my mentorship of people. The first thing we think of is when we think of our lives, we think birth to 90, right? That's what we think of. Well, I made Getting Grace, and I realized sometimes people have birth to 15 or birth to 10. Sometimes it's birth, a friend of mine died yesterday by his own hand, unfortunately. Robert Carradine, a great actor. You know, he had to 71, but we all go birth to 90. And we think we can take our time here or do what we want here, because here's where we'll really be making our life happen. But I saw here where I was going to be here. Look, and I'm doing this on purpose, in case God's watching. See, I have a whole nother third. So you can see that. But every decision I made to get here, I had to make here. Somehow or another, as a child, I knew I was going to be on TV. We showed a little video clip earlier. I started saying when I'm on TV when I was 6 years old. For some reason, I knew I was going to be there. Is it because I'm magical or special? No, I'm no special. I'm no different than any other person. What I had that I don't think everybody had was, I not only saw my future, but I made decisions that would lead me to it. Now, I can say in terms of my own children, so a lot of people will tell you about the differences and everything, but my new thing is I say, you ever make another human being? You ever make one? No, I made two. So I'm way ahead. I made two of you. And I made a boy and I made a girl. So I'm very clear on how they're very much not the same and how their thought patterns are different. But my son, when he was 3, if there was a 2-year-old who came to our house, my son would take him outside, or her, and he'd organize a sport and play, and he'd create an event for them to take part in. And my daughter, when she was 3, was writing stories and telling stories and making up stories and always reading a book. Not 1 book, not 2 books. She'd have 3 books. Imagine you get, Grace, your books are all over the place. You pick these books up. Why are you always reading? Watch some cartoons every now and again. I was the worst father. But that boy who organized sports runs after-school care now for the city of Burbank. He runs their skateboard park, even though I never let him be on a skateboard, because I would say, see these hoodlums riding skateboards, that's never going to be you. So he's the only kid at the skateboard park who can't actually, he can run it, but he can't use it, or he'd kill himself. And my daughter writes and directs movies with me. They're exactly who they were, but what they had was a dad who taught them this from the beginning. So I use the term God, because God is the term I recognize. Others you could say the planet, I don't really care what you call it. But you, as young people, you've chosen to go into, let's say, this school and go into filmmaking, whatever. Why? Because you were drawn to it. Now the difference is, I'm an actor and I'm learning how to act in the Pennsylvania Playhouse and the Civic Theater, but there's a point where if I want to be on TV, it's not going to be in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I got to get in a car and I got to drive to where they make TV, and that is Hollywood. Now I could have gone to New York and tried that, the Broadway stage. That could have worked, maybe not. I don't know, but I didn't. Maybe I'll be on Broadway eventually, but I saw myself on TV. So every decision I made, I had a beautiful girlfriend. Oh my God, beautiful. Hair as pretty as yours. She's beautiful. And one day I'm 16 years old and she's older and she says, I started thinking about you being a professional actor because I know it's what you want, but if you're a professional actor, you might have to kiss other girls and I don't want to see you kissing other girls, so maybe you could just work at Food Lane for the rest of your life. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I might have to be in a relationship with other girls. So goodbye forever. I'll see you in another lifetime, and I'm going. And I left. And who would have thought, what do I end up in relationships with men? Like you saw, like in that thing. But I've kissed a few girls on movies too. But it's white noise, that's all white noise. Let me tell you what other white noise is. Drugs. I hate to tell you, I know it's so great to smoke a doob and relax. I think that, I've never done it, but people tell me. Drugs, alcohol, pornography, relationships. You can just keep adding on other white noise on top of white noise on top of white noise. And all that noise does is divert you from the plan that a higher power put you on when you were here. Here, he showed you, or she, or they, or them, showed you what you could be. So here is where I am now. I kind of moved it a little. I don't know if he's paying attention, but I'm going to 110 now. But I say to Tammy all the time, and Tammy's doing it the same thing. If God takes me tomorrow, I am happy. My kids are great. You want to know how I feel about anything? Watch one of my movies, because my heart's in my movies. You don't have to go to a Tombstone. Just turn on the TV, and you'll see what I think, how I feel, what I love, what I find precious. My movies are all, kidding. maybe I'm sitting too close to that. The movies end up all being about fatherhood. Even the one there around the gangster where you saw in the beginning of it, that movie is about a guy who'll do anything to save his son. And what will he have to put up with to save his son? So that's that part of this story. Does that make sense? Is there a question about that anybody might have? Anything?
I'll just piggyback on that. You know, when I was 9, I knew that I wanted to be a sportscaster because I'd sit in front of the TV and mute it, and I'd do my own play-by-play. And I can tell you, you know, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I could tell you every player, their number, their last name, their position, you know, and so I knew I wanted to go into sports, and so I found a mentor, and I just wrote her a letter in 1986, and she was the sportscaster in Tampa. She was a female, which was very rare in the 80s. And she answered my letter and invited me down to the NBC affiliate that she worked for. She had gotten promoted to anchor, but she's getting her makeup on for the newscast, and she says, "What would you like to do, you know, when you graduate?" And I said, "Well, I want to be the first woman to do play-by-play for the NFL." And she looked at me, she goes, "Is it okay if you're going to be the second?" Because she had just gotten to be the first woman. She just got an offer to do play-by-play for the NFL. And she did the first game in Raiders, Kansas City in 1987. And she did that one game, and that was it, because NBC would not let her out of her contract as anchor. She had to pick, and she stayed as the news anchor. So she did one game. She was the only woman for, you know, probably 30 plus years before ESPN had one. But she took me under her wing, and she was my mentor, and she just guided me. And although I got into an internship and I worked and learned as much as I could for free, I was just wanted to be at the station I worked at, and I ended up turning out that I loved behind the camera instead of being on a sideline. And so I ended up creating a high school sports network for Time Warner. And but I was willing to work for free, work nights, you know, do whatever it took. I ended up getting hired at 17 because they saw my enthusiasm. And so I want people to know you can start at the bottom. And I started at the bottom as a graphics operator at 17, and by the time I was 25, I was actually running the TV station. And everyone who worked for me were older than me because they just came to work and just said, well, I'm the tape op, or I'm, you know, the audio guy or whatever. And they just came and did their job and left, but I was like, I want to learn everything. And so I was able to move up very quickly in the industry. And doing live television, I will tell you, will prepare you for everything, whether it's live sports. You know, I did radio with pictures for 5 years, and that was live, 4 hours of live TV, cutting my teeth on that, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning. But sports will give you those skills too as a director, and just working as a team. And so I know you guys have, I think, a sports program where you're doing some Lafayette games. I would definitely recommend learning all those aspects, because you also don't know, I didn't know I was going to love being behind the camera, and I recommend trying everything. Shakira has a song from Zootopia, Try Everything. That is my theme song. Sometimes you fail and you just get up and you try again, and that's, I say to people, have that be your theme song, try everything, because you really don't know until you do what actually, it may surprise you where you end up and what you end up gravitating to, and you don't know unless you try it. So that's my little lecture.
And when we make these movies, we were saying to the kids earlier, like you know, somebody will come to do a movie and want to be an actor, they'll want to be, but then they find out, oh my gosh, I have a gift for art directing. We mentioned Aaron Woods. Aaron was, in the first movie, he was with Griffin Electric.
I think he was still props, but,
The second movie, we put him on the art department.
yeah.
And, you know, I was like, can you do this? And he was just terrific. Anyway, you know, alumni here, just terrific guy. But I think, it could, you know, we're Tammy and I are, and this is something else, interestingly, I make the joke I made earlier, I'm married 42 years, if you add them all. Tammy and I are married 10 years, and you know, the first marriage got me to Hollywood and got her to Hollywood, and I wanted to have kids. She didn't want to have kids yet, so that was kind of the thing. God's great joke is she had the kid before I did. And then we have the mother of my children, who was from here, and you know, that lasted as long as it did. I don't even know if I can say to my kids, it's one person for your whole life. I don't know if that's, or maybe I'm just too much of a child that I screwed up too. But without Tammy, without a partner who is, it's not about being devoted to you, it's about being understanding of the depth of what you require. All my ex-wife had to do was say, you're funny, and I would have been fine, but she wouldn't say it. It seems so silly.
You're funny.
Thank you. Tammy, call my lawyer. She's like, you're dead. But
Who's gonna edit your next movie?
yeah, who's gonna edit your next movie? That's what she said, honey, I love you. That's what you turned out. But you know, having a partner, I mean, I don't know anybody, I'm telling you, my manager, who was a very successful writer and a producer at one time, he goes, Roby, nobody's made 5 movies in 8 years, nobody. It's just because Tammy and I, this is all we do, we get up, and it's not about money. We explained how we do a lot of this. I don't take any money to do it. Again, that may have to change eventually, but you know, we do it because we want to do it, and that's really good enough for me. Questions? Anything? Nobody? Yes. Oh yes.
I kind of have like 2 or 3 questions.
Trinity, lay 'em on.
2 of them are kind of in the same area. So the first one, I was looking at the movies and TV shows you've done, and one was The Walking Dead, like a little spin-off. How was that?
Oh, that was
I
fun.
love The Walking Dead.
So we do, here's like the life of an actor. We're doing this Walking Dead, my buddy Greg Nicoteros, the big Mahoff on the show. He calls me and goes, Dan, would you do me a favor? I'm directing these webisodes. That was real big then, of Walking Dead. Walking Dead's the biggest show on TV, but he's directing the webisodes. And so I agreed to do the webisodes for no money, like not even, nothing. But they're indistinguishable from The Walking Dead because the same people shoot them, the same people direct them, the same makeup people do the makeup. And he didn't tell me that if I'm on this thing, I can never be on The Walking Dead, which would have been better financially overall. But he needed this favor. So while we were shooting The Walking Dead, I was struck with such a problem in my gut that I could barely stand the pain. This is how I would relieve the pain. Then they would say action, I'd go, cut. And that's how I did that entire episode. Well, 2 weeks later, now I go to a doctor, he misdiagnoses my problem. 2 weeks later, I swear on my life, I almost lost it. 2 weeks later, I'm in Iowa making a movie, and I almost die. Ridiculous that I was misdiagnosed. But the show must go on. So I wasn't like, I can't be in your little zombie thing because you're paying me shit. No, I was like, I'll do it. It was crazy. But so that was great guy, and he's still a dear friend, Greg Nicotero.
So the second question, I know that we're told like you can do like plays, musicals, stuff like that to get more into the acting scene. What would you do kind of like out of that? Like, I don't know, how would you get like a chance to do something like that? Like I know there could be plays like around your community.
Yeah. Oh, how'd you get
Further
so?
than that?
Yeah, so we used to have this great thing here in town called Curtain Rises, which was in the paper every Sunday morning that told you where you were, what plays were coming, where people were auditioning. I'm sure that's all online now, but there's Civic Theater, Pennsylvania Playhouse, the Kitchen Players, the Touchstone Theater, Bill George's thing. There's a lot of theaters around. And by the way, if you want to be an actor, you got to start in the theater. I'm sorry, but that's where you learn fundamentally, how to do it, how to stand, how to move, how to talk, how to wait. Memorization, everything comes from the theater. So, and you could go like to the, whatever, I don't know where you live, but say you live near Civic Theater. You could contact them, and you're welcome to drop my name. You know, I'm good to them, and they're good to me, but, or if you need an introduction, I'm happy to make it. But go volunteer to be on crew and get to know people. And that's, again, that's not, what did I say earlier? That's not networking. That's you calling them up and saying, what can I do for you? Completely different thing. When they realize you're a worker, then they'll say, hey, you might be right for this or whatever.
And I think from a filmmaker standpoint, so my mom has written 5 screenplays, and none of them will probably see a screen because she thinks she needs millions of dollars, and no one's going to give a 75-year-old from Odessa, Florida, millions of dollars. We told her, Danny told her probably 13 years ago when we started dating, do a short, cut your teeth, just get the experience of producing something and seeing it through. We've made our movies for, all of them for less than $500,000. So you can do it. I tell local people, because there's a film community in the Tampa Bay area, and making shorts is just going to give you, it's just going to be a good way to teach you and not just think that I'm going to write a full-length feature and then you're going to find someone who's willing to give you $1 million. It's just not reality. And here's Danny, who's been in Hollywood. When we did Getting Grace, he'd been in Hollywood, for 30 years, and it was a struggle to get someone to, give him $250,000 to make a movie. So it's just not that easy, and we have friends that are like, oh, I have this friend at Netflix, and it's usually not the truth. It's usually not the truth. So I think from a filmmaker standpoint, doing shorts is a great way because it doesn't take a lot of time and gives everyone an experience to go through the process and see what it takes. Enter them in festivals,
Thank you. What was the last question?
The last one was kind of going to be like that. How would you get into voice acting?
Oh, voice acting. I get this a lot. Voice acting is acting. So you got to become an actor first. Probably more than anything I hear, oh, I'm good with voice. I had been acting for 30 years before someone asked me to do a voiceover. So it's a gift you develop, and an art you develop. But again, if you find someone here in school who's doing a cartoon short that they're making, say, I'd like to do one of the voices of it, I'll do it, for free, I'll do it. Thank you, Trinity. Question? Let me get back to you, let me get this fellow.
This one is for Danny. Because I think a lot of us are probably more tech people here on the production side, but what are some of the industry challenges that you face as a president in tech?
Well, I can tell you, and I was telling Meredith that getting our feature films through QC was something that I did not prepare for. So when you finish a movie and now your movie's getting to go streaming on, you know, Hulu, Netflix, whatever, Amazon, you have to send it to a post house and they send it through QC. And then they send you back what you hope is 1 page of notes, and sometimes you get 4 pages of notes, and they're all color coded where it's like, this is yellow and this we let it pass if you can't change it, but if it's red, you better fix it, or your movie isn't going anywhere. So they're just, technically, there's a lot of things that you know, I wasn't prepared for from a quality control
But you,
standpoint.
I mean, you've mastered a lot.
I mastered a lot.
If you weren't there, I don't know, like, we'd have to pay someone
Yeah.
to do it,
Yeah.
and it would be tens of thousands.
It would be tens of thousands. You know, because you're also dealing with closed captioning, and there's just a lot of technical things that, you know, the very first time because I didn't edit Getting Grace, I edited a few scenes for Getting Grace, but Danny had a great editor, and the first time I started editing, all of the stuff I do for commercials, for broadcast, you have to have 29.97 as your frame rate. For feature films, the projectors, you have to have 23.98 or 24 frames per second. You can't, it will not accept, you know, and I forgot to set my sequence at, I had it at, so I edited an entire reel at the wrong frame rate. So I had to go back and make sure I fix it, because then you have to, you know, send it to your composer, and he's got to, you know, compose, and your sound guy, they all have to like be working off the same thing. So the technical things.
But that may not seem like 29, 23, but if you're off 0.5 for every frame.
Yeah, you'll be off lip sync within minutes.
The lip sync, within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
People are going to be speaking at the right place.
So, you know, learning those technical aspects, when I send a TV commercial to, you know, a broadcast station, this station needs the specs this way, this needs to, so you really do have to be prepared to kind of get all of that information in advance, so that you're sending, you know, whether it's a 30-second commercial or a feature film, you're sending it with the right technical specifications. Very important. So that's been a learning curve for me, and the other thing is there's so many edit suites that you know, I know schools mostly work off Adobe, they're working off Premiere Pro. I just started learning in 1999, it was Avid, then Final Cut came, now there's DaVinci Resolve. I don't know Avid as well, because I was running the station and I didn't have time, you know, I was not getting to do the editing. But you may get a project from somebody that's on a different, you know, might be a Premiere project, or it might be, you know, a Final Cut project, and kind of just navigating through those things. Nonlinear editing is you know how to do it, but there's a learning curve if you're switching to different systems. So
okay, I want to also say, before you guys were born, we made the first Final Destination. Maybe not all of it. And before you were born, we made that movie. And have you seen the first Final Destination? Well, enough people.
Everybody's got to get off this plane.
Yeah. So there's a girl gets hit by a bus. So we shot that in 1999. The first time I'd seen nonlinear editing was maybe maybe half a year before that. But they came and showed us the next day the bus hit. And that was something that we were all like, how did you do that? Because before that, the movie went to the lab, and the lab you know, developed the film, they synced the sound to it, had to go to an editor, and the editor had to sync all the sound, had to cut it all together. That would have been, even if you wanted it quickly, it would have been a week. To bring it to us the next day was mind-blowing. It was like we just stepped into the future. And the thing about where you guys are at now is the future is fast approaching. QC for our first movie was a lot easier because it was done with a guy watching the movie. I promise you QC now is done by AI. So AI is watching your movie, looking for flutters, looking for, it can see stuff that would be imperceptible to the human eye, and they're flagging it as a mistake.
Or like in the Hail Mary, we have flashback scenes, and so I purposely, you know, change the color. I put a grain on it. I wanted it to look, you know, old. I had a lot of effects, and we put filters on it, and they literally flagged that.
Because the AI didn't know it was an artistic choice.
Yeah. So, and I will tell you, when I started in radio in '88, you know, we were still with reel-to-reel, with razors, splicing and taping. You know, that's how you edited. And then as a TV editor on my RM450, you had to know you had to know point A to B to C to D to E. And if you realized, oh, I got to change something, you had to go back. If you had to fix B, then you still had to redo C, D, E. Now with nonlinear, I mean, you guys like have it made, and I had a room probably, you know, half this size was how we made TV, and now it's on your phone and on your laptop. And so, you know, you're very blessed to be where you can monetarily afford to make films, you know, at home on your own, where I couldn't afford all the equipment I would have needed, you know, to make production back then. And, you know, I was carrying a huge TV camera, then you had a huge cable, and then you had a giant VCR, you know, trying to shoot live sports, and it was wacky.
I mean, when I got to Hollywood, the minimum you could make a sync sound movie for was $500,000. And that was, you know, you're not paying actors, you're a minimum $500,000. You get the film process developed, to buy the film, develop the film, sync the film, cut the film. But you had to have 3 editors, because one is editing the sound and one is editing the picture. And one is, so that's what it cost. It is so different now. The problem is, you know, back then, every 10th film was terrible because the person may not have had the gift, the godly gift to make it. Now, 1 out of 10 films is great because there's a lot of people making movies who probably should be making movies, but they can because they can make them for $20,000. You had a question?
Yes, so I actually kind of have 3 questions.
I got 3 from Trinity, but her name is Trinity. So, yes.
So I've done production since I did it in middle school and high school.
Oh.
And I did one recently in Civic Theater, The Christmas Carol, with my dad. I made him do it. He said he didn't like it, but he liked it.
Yeah, I could just say, this isn't for me.
He was the doctor. He was the doctor. He said, I'm sorry in a British accent. It was not good.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, literally, that's how he was.
That's right, you got him to do it. Good job.
So how would that be considered like enough experience to like get into like major acting? Or do you still need like
No, you gotta just keep doing it I will say from I found the theater in 77 and I left town in 81. That's only, wait, is that right? 77?
You left in 84.
Thank you, I left 84. That wasn't right. So 77, I found the theater, but I was in high school, so there's only so much I could do. But from 77 to 84, 7 years, I was either wrote, directed, or stage managed, I think 45 plays. So that's, when you cut that down, I was always at the theater. You know, there was a point where my father would say when I was 13, all you do is sit around the house and watch TV. Why don't you get out and do something?
I relate to that.
Yeah. And then, you know, 7 years later, he's like, how come you never just sit around the house watching TV? You always got to be at the theater, you know. There's no pleasing a parent. He likes it now. He liked it today. He was standing waiting for us to shoot The Fugitive, and they were bringing Harrison Ford to the set, and he stopped and said, oh, you have to be Mr. Roebuck. How are you? He like he liked that, boy. But just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it and doing it and doing it. But I don't like, if you see I'm auditioning, and I was saying this to Cody earlier, if you see I'm auditioning and you see that you're of the age range for the part, come audition. The last thing I'm concerned about is how much experience you have. Believe me, I have an ear. I can tell.
She was never in a movie.
Madeline Dundon was never in a movie. Now she's starred in 4. You know, literally pulled her out of high school. She's in a movie now you guys should see. It's out, called Hazel's Heart. She's so terrific in it. I was so jealous that I wasn't in it with her. I wormed my way into their next production, but I wasn't in that one with her. So just keep going, keep going.
And I was just gonna say, you know, we're great friends with Fuzz on the Lens and Damien Leone of the Terrifier franchise. And, you know, Damien started the Terrifier character in a short, you know, All Hallows Eve. And then the Levies and Damien, they got together and made the first movie, I think, but the first movie's budget was like $10,000, 25, you know, and the second movie's budget was only 100 and something thousand. So, so it's okay to, you know, start, and I'm so happy for them that the character got the following that it has, and like I said, you don't have to have the first movie be a multi-million-dollar budget and for it to catch people's attention. It's
and you're bringing up another point that I said earlier about inverting the networking pyramid. So we met the Levies because I was hired to act in a movie
with Tyler Mane.
That Tyler Mane was directing, but we met these like crazy kids, Fuzz on the Lens, these boys, and I said to Tammy, these guys have something. I like these kids. So when we were shooting Getting Grace, we hired them to do some additional filming for us.
Yeah, we had some pickup shots.
Right, and then they put me in a movie, and then I put him in a movie, and then I'm in Terrifier 3, which is very good, because everybody sees Terrifier 3. But was that networking? No, it was the opposite. It was finding a way to give them an opportunity to work, giving them money. But, you know, we inverted the pyramid, and that's why, to this day, we're all great friends, and we all work together. Did you have a question?
No. I have 2 more questions.
Sure, 2, that's right,
Yeah.
3. Say your first name?
Abby.
Abby, okay, Abby.
So my second question was, what's your favorite character you've ever played in a movie? In one of your movies, what's your favorite?
My favorite character, because I'm Count Dracula in the Munsters. When I was a little boy, probably my introduction to cinema was through Universal horror movies. And the first time I got like that epiphany that, wait a minute, that guy is Frankenstein, now he's like Dr. Frankenstein, and that guy was Dracula, but now he's Frankenstein, and that guy's Wolfman, but now he's the son of Dracula. Like I started realizing, oh, they're actors. Because you can say to it's very funny, you know, parents will bring a 4-year-old, they go, he's an actor, and the kids, they don't know what is an actor? I don't know what that is. But I started figuring out what it was. So to be Grandpa Munster, I mean, I'm giddy. And I'll be, this is so embarrassing, but if I'm home and there's a little, I got 10 minutes, I might just be like, there we go, the Munsters. and I'll just watch a few minutes because I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. Forever, I'm one of, there's 12 Draculas in the Universal Studios, you know, Parthenon or whatever that is, Pantheon. Canon, and I'm one of them. And that's, as a child, you know, my grandmother made me my first Dracula cape when I was 10. That's how far back I was obsessed with it. So that's it. And the last question, Anne?
How do you ever get like lots of critics on your movies, like good critics or like bad critics?
Always.
And how do you like deal with that?
Well, the critics that agree with you, you're like, see, they get it. And the critics that don't agree with you, you're like, what do they know about anything? So, but by the way, it's just like people, you guys in your life, you're gonna find some people like you, and other people don't like you. And it's for whatever reason it is. The first movie is called Getting Grace because of this exact story. My little nut, this nut, who is my daughter, who is so crazy making sometimes because she was just filled with, you would take Grace when she was 5, we'd be down in Hawaii, you know, shooting wasps, and there'd be some enormous lady, not an attractive lady, in a muumuu. And my daughter would go, oh, I love your dress. And you'd see it would change everything. The woman, she loves my, you know, so she was complaining that it was taking so long 10 seconds ago, and now my daughter, with her ability to see good in people, that's a little harder now, by the way. Her fallback is to see negative stuff now. I gotta talk to her about that. But, so Grace is in 4th grade, and she's got a female teacher and a male teacher in this Catholic school, and we go to the female teacher first, and the female teacher says, your daughter Grace, she's always talking. She's always off topic, and she's always got opinion about things and trying to make people laugh. And
she's very difficult to teach.
She's very difficult to teach. I got too close to that. And then, so like any parent, I think, when we go home, I'm going to beat the shit out of this kid. And then, I'm sorry about this, it's so weird.
Okay, so then they go to the next classroom, and it's the male teacher, and they sit Danny and Kelly down and say, I love Grace. She's always off topic. She's funny. She's such a joy to teach. So you have two people that have a completely different perspective, and as they left the driving home, Kelly said to Danny, some people get Grace and others never will. And so that's why, although Danny's Grace did not have cancer, so it just happened that was the character's name, Danny realized that, and that story is actually, he wrote that into the script. Some people get Grace and others never will, because it's a perspective. And
well, think about in terms of
critics.
Well, critics, no, think bigger than that. Think about God's grace available to everyone. Some people choose to let it in, and others refuse to let it in. And even if you don't believe in God, you could still, you could still enjoy His grace. There's a line in see, it's like having too many kids, and you get their names confused. My dad used to call me the name of the dog next door. It wasn't even our dog. And he'd be like, Rudolph. Rudolph's the dog. But in the Hail Mary, there's a line where my character says, I don't believe in God. And the nun says, well, he believes in you, so that's working out just fine. So anyway, grace is available, whether you believe in God or not, it's available all.
We have time for one more question. It's a little after 2.
All right, one more question. One more question. Yes, what's your name?
Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi. So more on the producing side, what is like the job description of a producer?
Well, the producer, there's many producers. So the line producer is the guy who's looking at we call it a line budget, and he's looking at the budget and trying to decide what costs, how we can save money, how much something should cost, how we can maybe remove this line and save that. If we don't need 3 truck drivers, we only need 2. So that's a line producer. So he's worried about money. The producer, in the sense of how Tammy and I are, like the movie originates with me, and then I see it from its conception, through its completion. So that means I'm writing the script, I'm picking where we're going to shoot it, I'm negotiating actor contracts. Tammy's doing that with me. Our producer team is Tammy, me, my daughter Grace, and a woman named Davy Cabral. That's our main producers. But then we are reliant on people, boots on the ground here, and we give them producerial credits too, like Dr. Barron made sure that all the guys who came and girls who were interns, that they got their accreditation for internship. So that's what Wendy helped us with. Another one, make sure we get food delivered. Another one. So, but the main producers are the ones that are with the project from the beginning to the end.
And it's, the producing part is not always the glamorous part, because it's
never the glamorous
It's
part.
making sure you have insurance, making sure you have contracts for all the locations you shoot at. A great lesson I had in locations was that you make a contract with someone, and we did not go back and walk the person who owned the home after and say, okay, is everything left? Did we damage anything? We'll cover it. We didn't do it after the fact. And then a month later, they decided to say we broke all this stuff and we owed them all this money. When I personally had an interaction with them, but we didn't have it on a sheet of paper that they signed. So making sure all those contracts and those things, are not the glamorous part, but it is so important. It is vital.
Dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And you know what I would say, this is really producing. And I'll give you a nutshell. My first wife used to say, prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I'd say real producing is anticipating what the problem will be and solving it before it occurs. That's real producing. And that's, Tammy will say, there are times when I have to say, Tammy, we can't have a reaction, do not have a reaction. And by the way, what I say to my kids more than I say anything, don't have the reaction until the action. And you guys take that, think about that, learn that. Because I saw this video the other day, a brilliant thing where they showed, they put up on the TV, did you see this online? They put like the TV screen is broken, and then one of the kids stands next to her with a basketball, and 10 out of 10 dads came in, and 10 out of 10 dads were like, what the hell? And they all go to 10. Like not one of the dads says, well, are you sure it's broken? Not one of the dads says, we have insurance, don't worry. Now, if it were a mom, the mom would say, are you okay? Right, but every dad comes in and overreacts. So I like, don't have the reaction until the action, until you know how bad it is. Learn how bad it is. And then it's never as bad as you think it is. Hell, we had a stunt coordinator, I had to get him back on a plane, and the only day one of the actors overslept. And instead of being like, I said, get the camera crew, everybody go in, and we're shooting another shot. And we just shot a shot that I needed, until they found the kid, thank God he was alive, but he was just, in the arms of his girlfriend, and, forgot that he had to shoot a big fight scene. That was everything. Thank you so much. I'm here if anybody wants to take a picture. Well, I know they really want to take a picture of Tammy, but if you want to take a photograph, whatever, I'm blessed to be here. Keep in touch with us, follow us online, and we're here. If you have any other personal questions, we're here. Jess, thank you.
Sure, can we give them a round of applause, please?
Wendy, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm grateful to you. If you need us, you can always track us down through Professor Barron, which sounds like the villain of the movie. Professor Barron! There you are. Look how he didn't sit on this table, you guys. I checked.
Wendy wants a picture with all the students.
Yes.
Okay, Wendy wants a picture with all the students, and then
Oh.
you do it. So
Wait,
do not
what?
leave.
Well, why don't we do that first?
Yes. I told you.
Why don't we do that first? We'll do that first. All right. Now, we've all taken 100 pictures. Smaller people in the front.
No, I'm not small.
It was live streamed on YouTube.
Only by stature, not by...
After my
Look, you know. Tammy in the middle. You guys come on this side, let's have people on this side. Can we have some more people on this side?